in time for the birth of his child was awesome.
He had a great game here last year under some tough circumstances. I think it shows, someone who's been in the game for a while, they're able to compartmentalize some situations that might be going on in their life. They can come out here and just focus on the game itself. He's able to do that in some really tough circumstances. And, again, that's why he's such a pro and such a great big league pitcher.
That was John Schneider and then pitching coach Pete Walker talking about Chris Bassitt's last start here at Citi Field, a memorable one that we'll touch on as the broadcast goes. But focusing on tonight, Bassitt taking the mound against Griffin Canning, Game 2, Blue Jays and Mets in Queens. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Appreciate you tuning in tonight. And Chris, we saw Chris Bassitt come out against Baltimore and scatter a lot of base runners, but he ended up with a good day. What did you see out of him in that game that you want to see tonight?
Well, I think it'll be difficult for him to pitch in this weather. He obviously looks very, very good. His fastball is being located really well. We saw him pitch great in spring training. His first start was obviously really, really good. But it's really difficult to pitch when it's raining and when it's cold. I found it really hard to grip the baseball, and I'm almost positive that Chris Bassitt will wear his emotions on his sleeve tonight.
Well, I'm sure we'll monitor that and talk a little bit more about the weather coming up. But before we get there, a couple other things to cover. So let's go over to today's host, Show Ali.
Thanks very much, guys. Welcome back inside Baseball Control, everyone. Show Ali with you at our downtown Toronto studios as we await first pitch down at Citi Field in Queens. Like I said, first pitch is just a couple minutes away. So let's check out, as it is a night game, the Bet365 standings update. At Bet365, you can bet on popular markets like hits, home runs, and total bases. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. Again, because it is a rare Saturday night game, we have a ton of results already. So first of all, Chris LaRue's Yankees beating Chris LaRue's Pirates 10-4. Yankees now a game and a half ahead of the Jays at 6-2. The Jays, of course, themselves interplay today after the 5-0 loss yesterday in Game 1 of this series. They are now 5-3. The Rays are above 500 at 4-3, though they are actually in action right now. They are in Arlington to take on the Rangers, although that game just about to start at the same time as our game. Top of the first inning about to get going there. But the Rays are 4-3. The Red Sox have gotten back to 500 exactly. They are 4-4, although in Boston, some more inclement weather, something we should probably be monitoring considering the next step. The next stop for the Blue Jays after Queens is Fenway Park, but they got rained out at Fenway today. They'll play a doubleheader tomorrow against the Cardinals, and then the Orioles. They thumped the Royals 8-1 in Kansas City today, and they are now 4-5 at the bottom of the division, though it is early on. Before we get you over to Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue, again, the guys are standing by for the call of today's game. Let's get to the starting lineups. Now, here is the Blue Jays lineup, courtesy of John Schneider. Bo Bichette is batting leadoff. He is at shortstop. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. batting second at first base. Anthony Santander batting third. He is DHing today. Andres Jimenez is leading the team in home runs, batting cleanup again at second base. Alejandro Kirk is catching, batting fifth, batting sixth is George Springer. He's in right field. Batting seventh is Will Wagner at third base. Miles Straw getting a center field start. He is batting eighth, and batting ninth is Alan Roden. He is in left field, as Ben and Chris said. Chris Bassitt on the mound for his second start of the season. He of the 106 pitches and 6 innings the last time out to wrap up that Orioles series at the beginning of the year. And here's Mets managers Carlos Mendoza's lineup. Francisco Lindor is batting leadoff. He's at shortstop. Juan Soto
always look at is the strikeouts of 130 strikeouts in 171 innings. That tells me that he's a guy that you can kind of jump on early. He doesn't have outstanding stuff, does have a decent fastball, 94, 95, but with those low strikeout rates, that's a guy that you can really jump on.
Maybe trying to combat that and up the strikeout rates. He threw a ton of sliders in his first start. John Schneider talked about adjusting the game plan, seeing what he's been working on a bit as opposed to last year, and he's about to pitch to Bo Bichette. Into the wind, the pitch home. Down and away with a fastball, ball one. Time of the first pitch, 7:10 Eastern. It's 10 degrees in New York. Little bit of drizzle it looked like before the game. Looks like it's just cloudy now. The 1-0. There's the slider. It's called a strike, 1-1. Home plate umpire is Emil Jimenez. Doug Eddings is at first base today. Mike Malinsky at second. Gabe Morales at third. Right-hander into the wind. The 1-1. Swing and a miss on the slider, 1-2.
Pretty good slider right there from Canning. Awkward swing from Bo Bichette way out in front of that pitch.
He waves off his sign. Now Canning working from the first base side will get into the wind. Steps to the left, kicks and deals. That fastball fouled off, trying to go inside against Bichette, and Bo got the barrel to it to stay alive.
When the weather is like this, as a pitcher, it's almost expected that you're going to throw inside. You're going to try to blow guys up on the inside part of the plate. Hitters don't like to hit when it's this cold, this rainy. I'm sure it's no different tonight.
Another 1-2. Swing and a fly ball to left field. That's going to hook foul. Actually, more of a liner. It's a hanging slider from Canning, but he got away with it. Still 1-2.
Yeah, I'd go inside. Go inside with a fastball here. Something that's moving in. Like I said, something that'll blow up the hands.
Another 1-2. In the dirt. That was the changeup from Canning. He throws that third most. Occasionally throws a cutter, which is a little bit in between his four-seamer and slider. Going inside, is it as simple as it hurts your hands when guys hit the ball in there?
It's as simple as that.
Long sleeves under the gray jersey for Bichette. The 2-2. Swing and a fly ball, left center field. Siri is going back, curling in front of the track, called off by Nimmo, the left fielder, who makes the catch. 1 out.
I've actually never heard a position player say in all of my years, I enjoy hitting in cold weather.
Right.
It's never come out of somebody's mouth, and I can almost guarantee it's still the same way today.
Well, it is cold. Jose Siri has kind of the balaclava. He's got a shirt coming out from under his jersey that goes over his head like a hood. His face is showing completely. 1 out, the pitch to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Called strike. Fastball down the middle, 0-1.
I bet Vlad wants that one back. 93 thigh high right down the middle.
Sanger sets up middle in, the 0-1. Hit back foul. They delivered the changeup right in on the hands. It's 0-2.
Yeah, and you can see just how uncomfortable he is. I mean, I'm sure he would have been uncomfortable anyway, whether the weather was 30 degrees or whether it is what it is right now. But that was a really uncomfortable swing on a changeup inside.
1 out, bases empty. The 0-2 in the dirt. Canning gets a new baseball, and Emil Jimenez gets a couple extra ones as well. Time to tell you that the first inning is brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Armstrong Bird Food, the reason birds fly north. Feeding Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. The 1-2. Foul tip, strike 3. Elevated the heater at 94. First strikeout of the day for Canning. 2 down.
That's a good pitch from Canning. A changeup inside, blew him up, and then just absolutely blew him away with that fastball. 94 above the strike zone. Pretty good pitch right there.
Two outs, bases empty. Anthony Santander, the switch hitter, bats left. The pitch. Up and in, ball 1.
There was just a shot of John Gibbons in the dugout. And oddly enough, he looks really comfortable in this weather.
Hey, he managed in Toronto for a while.
He is chilling in that dugout right now.
1-0. Upstairs, ball 2. For those who don't know, he's the bench coach with the New York Mets. And, of course, the manager of the Blue Jays from 04 to 08, and then again from 13 to 18, famously with those 2 runs to the ALCS in 15 and 16. 2-0 to Santander. Up and in again, ball 3. Canning near misses all around the spot he's trying to work.
Yeah, really trying to hammer up and in to Santander. They don't want him to get those arms extended.
The 3-0. Called strike with a heater on the inside half. 3-1.
That's a tough pitch. When you're behind in the count 3-0, it's really hard to locate in. And Canning did a perfect job right there.
No score, top of the first. The 3-1 pitch. Check swing. Pitch was down and away for a ball. Appeal to 30. Didn't go around, says Gabe Morales. So Santander's on with a walk.
It's a pretty good changeup. It almost has split finger action to it. It looks like it's a strike and then just dives away from left-handed hitters.
On the side view, it was pretty close. Santander pointing down. He wanted the appeal as well. He's got first base. And here's Andres Jimenez, the former Met. From the stretch, the 17th pitch of the inning for Griffin Canning. Strike 1. Mets in their concrete-colored City Connect uniforms today. NYC across the chest. The 0-1. Swinging a ground ball right side through the hole into right field. A base hit. Santander around second. He's going to motor into third, and Soto running almost all the way back to the infield to get it in. You could see water going up in every direction as that ball hit the outfield grass and just died out there. Good base running.
Well, this is an important thing to see. If you're Carlos Fablis, the Blue Jays third base coach, you know those ground balls to the outfield are going to make the ball wet, and the outfielders aren't going to be able to throw to bases. So you have to know that, and you're probably going to be sending guys home that you normally wouldn't be sending home because of that.
Not to mention when Soto picks it up, that's a wet ball he's going to try to throw to a base or the plate. First and third, 2 down. The pitch to Alejandro Kirk. Called strike. It doesn't appear to be raining anymore, but it did rain, or drizzle at least, for a long period before the game, and you can see marks of that all over the field. The 0-1. Swing and a miss. Tied him up with a heater, 0-2.
Good pitch from Canning. Up and in, a perfect location.
They've worked him for 20 pitches so far in the inning. Senger, though, is going to go out in front of the mound and deliver some signals to the defense. Maybe they think with 2 strikes on Kirk, a bigger chance that Jimenez would take off from first. Jimenez on first, Santander on third. No score, top of the first, 2 outs. Carlos Fablis in the year of Anthony Santander, leading off in foul territory. Here's the 0-2 to Alejandro Kirk. Called strike 3. Got him with a breaking ball at the top of the zone. And Kirk strikes out looking to end the inning. A hit and a walk for the Blue Jays, but no runs. They leave 2 aboard. No score, middle of the first. We'll see Chris Bassitt next. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Of all the things that TimberMart can lend a hand to build, community ranks among the most important. And with the TimberMart Local Leaders Initiative, we strive to recognize those dedicated to making their hometowns a better place to live, work, and play. From now to June 25th, you can vote to select our grand prize winner. They'll receive a $10,000 grant to support their outstanding initiative as TimberMart's Local Leader of the Year. To vote, visit local-leaders.com. TimberMart, Canada's building center.
One of the best in the game at receiving the ball.
He's about as good of a strike zone controller as the Blue Jays have.
To a team of elite defenders, he is Captain Kirk, a game caller in unison with this pitcher.
Does he ever have a knowledge of the strike zone?
Framing pitches with precision and a steady hand.
Kirk's done it again.
Be one of the first 15,000 fans at the ballpark on Wednesday, April 30th to get your Alejandro Kirk bobble arm. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com. Lights up, let's go.
Breaking news coming in Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
0-2 swing and a miss, strike three.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Bottom of the first, Blue Jays and Mets, no score. And Chris Bassitt waiting for Francisco Lindor. Bassitt standing on the first base side of the rubber, now steps onto it as the switch hitter Lindor is going to step in, and the fans serenading his walk-up song of My Girl. Get to that in a sec. First, Bassitt into the wide, and the pitch. Called strike. Fans singing it. It's a new walk-up song for Lindor commemorating the birth of his daughter, Koa, which a couple days ago he had to miss a game for. Was hitless when he left. He has hits in every game since returning. The 0-1. Swing and a line drive, base hit in left field, bouncing toward the corner. Cut off by Rodin. Lindor digging for second, and for a second straight day, he doubles on the first pitch the Mets see.
Well, that's a really good pitch, a sinker down and away, but Francisco Lindor does such a good job of just going with that baseball and hammering it the other way for a leadoff double. Tons of movement on that pitch.
Interesting, though, you talked about the conditions pregame. That sinker only 90 miles an hour from Chris Bassitt, who's not living on his velocity, but is typically more in the 92 kind of range. We'll see if that continues. That was just his first pitch of the start. Well, it's a tough spot now. Runner on second, no outs, and Juan Soto is at the plate. The pitch. Just outside, ball one.
Well, it's a tough couple of first hitters for Chris Bassitt. We've seen him struggle against lefties. He has a difficult time really getting that sinker in on lefties. He'll have to do it to Francisco Lindor and Juan Soto here tonight.
A look at Lindor. The pitch to Soto is hit in the air, center field. Ranging back strides, got plenty of room, and he runs into it to make the catch. Lindor tagging and digging for third. The throw comes in a little bit late, and Francisco Lindor advances on the fly out from Soto. Runner on third, one out.
Well, we know Lindor has tons of speed, 29 stolen bases last year. Miles Straw did a good job getting behind this baseball, almost running towards it as he's catching it. Made a good throw to third, but again, Lindor just too quick.
Head first dive into third for Lindor, who stole a base yesterday as well. He's on third with one out. And Pete Alonso is up with the infield in. Former teammates facing off. Bassitt's pitch. Hit on the ground, foul, 0-1.
Well, I tell you what you don't want to do to Pete Alonso. Throw a fastball about 5 inches off the plate outside.
Incredible, the pitch he hit out yesterday for the two-run homer that ended up deciding the game in a 5-0 shutout. He homered in the first off Gausman. Bassitt from the stretch, the pitch. Just missed down and in, 1-1.
Well, they're obviously not going away or staying away from Pete Alonso, busting him in with the first two pitches, two sinkers. Pretty good sinkers, too, from Chris Bassitt.
The 1-1. Broken back grounder, foul just past third. The barrel landed over the head of Bo Bichette and behind him at shortstop. That is sawing off a bat the most you can do it. Alonso was left with just a shard of the handle, and that's busting him inside for sure. 1-2 is the count.
Well, if there's one guy that's going to take advantage of the weather, it's Chris Bassitt. He knows how uncomfortable the hitters are to swing at something on the inside part of the plate or off the plate. So I would be shocked if he goes away here to Pete Alonso. Maybe he might go up, but he's definitely not going to go away. And by definitely, I mean maybe 60% sure.
Nothing is absolute. Kirk inside, the 1-2. Up and in, did not chase the cutter.
That's a good pitch. Throw that pitch up at the top of the strike zone, maybe above. You can't really do anything to it. It's a tough pitch to barrel up.
Bassitt looking for a strikeout, maybe a pop-up with Lindor on third. And one out. No score in this game. Bottom of the first. The 2-2. Just outside. Kirk tried to yank it back into the zone. It's a full count.
That was almost the exact pitch that he hit out yesterday. A couple of inches off the plate, down and away.
It was not a pitch that we thought could get hit out. Even when the ball was hit, Rodin initially was tracking it like it was going to stay in the diamond. But it left the yard and made it 2-0. The 3-2. Swing and a miss. Strike three. Spun in the sweeper there to get Alonso to chase outside, and there are 2 outs.
Such a good pitch there. You pound him in 3 or 4 pitches, and then you throw that tough sweeper. It looked like a strike. Actually ended up in the strike zone, but that's a tough pitch to really square up.
Alonso cracked a bit of a smile after the strikeout. Has a pretty good relationship with Chris Bassitt from the year they spent together in New York, and there are 2 down. Brandon Nimmo up the pitch. Fouled off the glove of Kirk. Strike one.
That was a smile that looked like, come on, man, throw me a fastball down the middle. Why not? Challenge me.
Hey, he gave him the 73 breaking ball. That's pretty big juice.
Yeah.
I often see the 68, 69 mile per hour breaking balls from Chris Bassitt. Infield back, by the way, except at third base. You still have Wagner playing kind of even with the bag. The 0-1. Hit down the left field line, slicing foul out of play. 0-2.
It's a big pitcher. I can almost guarantee that he's probably not going to throw something in the zone here. That's a big run out at third base, and you're in an 0-2 count.
Maybe a good time for a splitter. Left-handed hitter up. Splitter was a big pitch for Bassitt in his first start. The 0-2. Missed up top with the cutter.
Francisco Lindor is way off of third base, too. Anything that gets away from Alejandro Kirk, Francisco Lindor is easily scoring.
It's got a lot of room because Wagner is way off the line because of the left-handed hitter Nimmo. While Wagner is in, he's far away from the bag. The 1-2. Just missed low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Leadoff double by Lindor, a flyout by Soto, and a strikeout by Alonso after that. Bassitt with a chance to wipe away that hit and keep it scoreless. If he can get Nimmo here. It's a good day for Nimmo yesterday, a walk and a double. And now Bassitt steps off, looks over at Lindor. They have a fun chuckle back and forth, former teammates as well. I think he was just saying, hey, you're too far down the line.
He was almost halfway down the line when he looked at him.
The 2-2. Up and away, ball 3.
Chris Bassitt nodding his head. It's a good take from Nimmo.
It's the four-seamer, but it got some run, not unlike the sinker. Full count, 2 outs, runner on third. Bassitt kicks and deals. Breaking ball, hit on the ground to second base. Jimenez on it, and that'll do it for the inning. Chris Bassitt flirts with some trouble, but after the leadoff double by Lindor, he strands him on third, keeps us scoreless going to the second. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Give the new spring era retro kick with an all-new classic vinyl spring mix on the SiriusXM app. Here comes the sun. Featuring timeless classics from the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, and ELO. It's a beautiful day. To feel-good anthems by Elton John, Bruce Springsteen, U2, and more. It's a beautiful day. Bring this season to life with the classic vinyl spring mix. Search Spring Fever on the SiriusXM app.
Baseball is back. It's former General Manager Jim Duquette, and every Sunday on the front office, we have you covered on everything happening across Major League Baseball.
That's right, Duke. It's former Big League GM Jim Bowden. Injuries, extensions, promotions, demotions, and trades. We'll have you covered on all the news.
We'll bring you the front office perspective as the season heats up.
Front office with Jim Duquette and Jim Bowden, Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Out of here! Go, hey, Ohtani Connect!
From in-season fantasy baseball management to daily fantasy basketball to getting you ready for the NFL Draft. Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
We begin our quest for another championship right now. Winning is everything. It's all there is.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on SiriusXM.
George Springer leads it off for the Blue Jays. Top of the second inning. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight. No score, Blue Jays and Mets. Griffin Canning winds and deals to Springer. Swing and a miss on the slider, 0-1. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. George Springer, maybe the hottest Blue Jay out of the gate. Pretty good argument you could have between him and Andres Jimenez. But Springer hitting .440 to start the year. He'll take another slider. That one for a strike, 0-2. 11 for 25. 2 doubles, a triple, and a home run plus 5 RBIs. Right on right, the 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Fed him 3 straight sliders. 1 out.
That's a tough slider from Griffin Canning. He actually throws that thing 52% of the time. His most used pitch, which is weird for a starter.
Not a thing that he did last year. Only threw it about a quarter of the time last year, but in his first start against Houston, more than doubled that. And as we can see here, it wasn't a one-start thing. He's clearly using it a lot today. His pitch to Will Wagner is a heater at the top of the zone, strike 1.
Small sample size, though.
Yeah.
Of course.
The 0-1. Swing and a miss at the change, 0-2.
And again, that changeup looks like a split finger. So much action through the zone. It's not just a change in velocity. It's actually got a ton of movement on it, almost like a bowling ball.
Here's 0-2. Swinging bunt, rolling up the third baseline. That's going to be picked up in foul territory by Senger, the catcher. The second inning is presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can bet live in-game on game props, totals, and the money line. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. 1 out, nobody on base. 0-2 count against Will Wagner with no score in the top of the second. The 0-2. Down and in. Wagner off to a nice start himself. 7 for 21 with a pair of doubles and a walk. Canning's pitch. Inside, nearly hit him on the back with that fastball, 2-2.
Not a good night to get hit, I can tell you that much.
Wagner twisted to get out of the way of that one. Back in the box. Glove is set up inside again. The 2-2. Down and in, ball 3. Went back to that back foot slider, and Wagner laid off each of the last 2.
Griffin Canning is almost like a different pitcher now from when we saw him last year with that slider.
His payoff pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Finally got him to chase the slider down and in. It bounced, but Wagner swung over top of it. 3 strikeouts in a row going back to the first for Canning. 2 outs.
Yeah, and the most important thing with Griffin Canning right now is the slider looks like a fastball until the very last second, and then it darts down. A ton of vertical break. It's a pretty good pitch.
Throws it hard. He throws everything hard. Slider's around 87. Changeup is around 89 with a 93-94 fastball. His pitch to Miles Straw upstairs at 93. Ball 1. 2 outs. Base is empty. No score. Top of the second. Second start of the year for Miles Straw, who had 3 hits in his start in the home finale for the Blue Jays. 1-0 pitch called a strike. Pardon me, third start for Straw. Here's 1-1. Slider on the outside corner, strike 2.
How about another slider? What do you think?
Why not?
I mean, he throws that thing 52% of the time.
Looking to strike out the side is Griffin Canning, the right-hander. He steps to the left, kicks, delivers. And it's a slider hit on the ground through the whole left side into left field for a base hit.
Really, really good job from Miles Straw keeping the bat back. He was a little bit fooled by it. His body was out in front, but he was able to keep the bat back and get the barrel to it and hit that thing through the hole on the left side. A good job by him.
John Schneider said before today's game, part of Straw being in the lineup today was that they feel like he's a good breaking ball hitter. They expected to see a lot of him. It's paid off once. Allen Roden up to the plate with Straw on first. Canning sets just above the belt. And now deals. Called strike with the change. On the flip side, Allen Roden great at hitting the high fastball a lot of the time, so safe to say we'll probably see a lot of non-fastballs from Canning here. Just through the change. Looking in now, and here's the 0-1. No, it's going to be a turn and throw to first instead. Straw back in with a dive. Canning's 0-1. Swing and a miss at another change. 0-2.
That thing has so much movement. Allen Roden was way out in front, fooled by that changeup.
Especially a lot of horizontal movement on that changeup. More so than even the drop that it gets. 0-2. In the dirt with the change. Nice pick by Senger on the backhanded side. Kept Miles Straw at first.
When Griffin Canning gets on top of that changeup, it almost acts like a left-handed slider. It has so much movement to the right.
Turn and throw to first by Canning again, and again Straw back in. That's 2 disengagements. Next one, if he didn't get Straw, would be a balk. Mark Budzinski just whispered some words to Straw. Could see him take it off on this pitch.
I wouldn't mind that. Get into scoring position.
The 1-2. Straw goes, or rather doesn't. The pitch is high. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Thought about it, decided not to take the base. Still an opportunity to do it here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Canning's pitch. Hit on the ground right side. Foul, and we'll do it again at 2-2.
Miles Straw doesn't really have a big lead. It doesn't seem like he wants to go here. I think it's a great opportunity to go, but it doesn't seem like he really wants to.
First pitch of the day for Griffin Canning. On the way right now. Swing and a hot shot grounder foul right field line. And after quickly going down 0-2, Allen Roden is really battling. That was the 6th pitch of the at-bat. It's still 2 balls, 2 strikes. Straw again on that pitch, deked, but didn't go. I don't know if footing is tough to get right now. Maybe a little bit of a wet surface, although the tarp was on the infield before the game. 2-2 again. Swing and a grounder, foul again, just past the ankles of Mark Budzinski.
Yeah, it seems like every single time he'll take a couple of steps, a couple of hard steps, and then stop. Like you said, maybe it's the surface. Maybe he just doesn't feel comfortable right now trying to steal that base.
Stole 30 of them and only was caught once in AAA last year. 2-2 once more. Downstairs, ball 3. Senger popped up quickly to check on Straw, who will be off on the pitch now. It's a full count and 2 outs. 0-0 ball game, top of the second. No hold on first now. Straw running on the pitch, the 3-2. Down and in, ball 4. Heck of an at-bat, or plate appearance rather, for Allen Roden. He ends up working a 9-pitch walk, and it's 2 on with 2 out for Bo Bichette.
Well, he showed in spring training how much patience he has at the plate. Every single time he comes up there, he waits for his pitch, and if there's a tough strike during an at-bat, he'll foul it off. waiting for his pitch, and that at-bat right there, just such a professional at-bat from Alan Roden.
Jeremy Hefner, the pitching coach, out talking to Griffin Canning right now. Canning with 2 strikeouts in this inning and 4 already on the day. But in trouble for a second straight inning. Blue Jays have had a pair of base runners in the first and now the second. Mound visit breaking up in a moment for the first-year Met, Griffin Canning, drafted by the Angels out of UCLA in the second round in 2017. He actually debuted against the Blue Jays in 2019, although the only guy on this Blue Jays team that would remember that is Vlad Guerrero Jr., who himself was playing in his 4th career game and first in Anaheim, where his dad played for a long time. Now Canning pitching against the Blue Jays as a Met. His pitch to Bobichek. Swing and a fly ball foul on the right side over the screen, out of play, 0-1. A lot of speed on the bases. Straw especially on second. Roden on first can run as well. The 0-1. Swing and a fly ball center field. Backing up Siri. He'll make the catch just off to his left and end the inning. For the second straight frame, the Blue Jays threaten, but they do not score. No runs on a hit, 2 left for Toronto. No score in this game, middle of the second inning. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Here at Home Hardware's Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno sale, everyone's saving on everything they need to tackle their reno project. Like bringing their living room into this century with 25% off Canadian-made Beauty Tone Pure Interior and Specialty Paint. Or tackling that bathroom reno with up to $200 off Max Shower Units. That's better. Earn and redeem Scene Plus points during the Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno sale. On now at Home Hardware and Building Centers.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Gary, do you ever wonder why we fly north every year? Obviously, it's because of Armstrong bird food. I thought it was because of the weather or migration or something. Oh, Steve, you need to spread those wings and open your eyes, partner. Truth is, it's the seeds, the nuts, the berries, the good stuff. Armstrong's got it all. So all this time, you've been chasing snacks? Bingo! You think I'd flap these wings thousands of miles for anything else?
Armstrong, Canada's premier bird food. The reason birds fly north. Find Armstrong at Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and other fine retailers. Or learn more at ArmstrongBirdFood.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
George Springer has given the Blue Jays the lead once again.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the second inning, Blue Jays in the Big Apple, tied with the Mets at 0 as Chris Bassitt steps back out on the mound. He winds and deals to Jesse Winker. Fastball for strike 1. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight. First appearance of the series for Winker. DHing, hitting from the left side. The 0-1. Curveball drops in there on the inside corner. Strike 2. Winker with a thick beard, hair down to his shoulders. First full season with the Mets, dealt over there from Washington at the deadline last year. 0-2. High with the cutter. Winker didn't offer. Ball 1.
I was going to say, if you thought Jesse Winker had long hair last year, he must have been taking some hair supplements or something. That thing is on his shoulders now.
It's got kind of a Jason Momoa look to him right now. 1-2. Sinker just missed inside. It was running back to the plate, but stopped a little short. 2-2.
That's a good pitch. Chris Bassitt nodding his head at Alejandro Kirk, letting him know that he liked that pitch and location.
Bassitt winds. And the 2-2. Swing and a liner right field, down for a base hit, bouncing onto the warning track. Bit of a stumble from Springer. He throws it back into second, and Winker dives in time for a leadoff double.
Well, George Springer actually thought that he might be able to catch that baseball on a hop, but as soon as that baseball hit the grass, it skipped right by him and went right to the wall. That grass is soaking wet, but a pretty good swing by Winker on a tough pitch, down and away.
The Hawkeyes read it as a changeup. Chris told me he's not really throwing the changeup all that much. Have to look back after the inning and see if it was a splitter grip or a changeup grip. But either way, an off-speed pitch. Winker got on, and for a second straight inning, the Mets lead it off with a double. They didn't score Lindor last inning. We'll see if they can do that for Winker this inning. Mark Vientos takes the first pitch inside ball one. Vientos enters today 2 for 27, the starting third baseman for the Mets. Both hits are doubles. The 1-0. Breaking ball, called strike.
He's thrown a couple of good ones tonight. Those slow, big breaking balls. Obviously, he has a good feel for it.
One looked like it started over the head of Mark Vientos and dropped about halfway down the zone. The 1-1. Fastball hit foul, drove it inside on the hands. It's 1-2.
It's a really good sequence. Really slow, and then bust him in with a fastball. I like that.
Bassitt going to his right hip to communicate with Alejandro Kirk. Now he steps onto the rubber. Nobody out. Runner on second. 1-2 count. Bassitt looks at Winker. And now delivers home. Swing and a miss, strike three. Got him with another sinker inside, 1 out.
You know what Vientos was thinking? He's probably coming back with another slow breaking ball, and all of a sudden Chris Bassitt gasses it up and blows him up inside. A perfect pitch. Hits Kirk's glove. The pitch.
Second strikeout so far for Chris Bassitt. Pitching in his former home. This is the third time that the right-hander has faced the New York Mets. The pitch. Called strike. Had a good outing against them last year, but the memorable one for Bassitt 2 years ago, he went 7 2/3 innings while his wife was in labor. Bassitt looks at second, and his 0-1 pitch to Brett Beatty. Check swing roller foul, 0-2. That game, if you don't remember, delayed by 91 minutes. There were questions about if Bassitt was going to start or not. He chartered a private plane to wait for him to go back and be there for his wife, and it ended up being, a long delay and then a long start. He went 7 2/3 scoreless. The Blue Jays won the game 3-0, and then he walked off the mound into the clubhouse. I'm guessing skip the shower, quick change, get on the plane and get back to Toronto, and he got there in enough time at least to be there for the berth and maybe not be in the doghouse after a good start.
No need to shower when you're the only one on the plane.
0-2, called strike three. Beautiful backdoor cutter. Back-to-back punches for Chris Bassitt, 2 down.
Well, Beatty was clearly fooled by that pitch. What a pitch on the outer third, a little cutter. Good night with that one.
We don't see him throw that version of the cutter a lot. He elevates it, but he just snuck it into the outer third.
I actually think he missed his spot, though. Kirk was set up and in like he loves to throw it, but that was in a perfect location.
The pitch to Jose Siri, breaking ball outside, ball 1. Runner on second after the leadoff double, but now 2 outs. No score, bottom of the second. If you're going to miss, make it a good miss. Bassitt just stepped off for a moment, going through some signals with Alejandro Kirk. Jose Siri, the right-handed hitter, never left the box. Siri 1 for 12, playing in center field today. The 1-0. Fastball, called strike. And he's just going east to west, hitting the inner and outer edges of the zone against all these guys he's facing, right-handed or left-handed.
Yeah, his command has been very good tonight, especially inside to right-handed hitters.
His 31st pitch of the day is a breaking ball tapped away foul just off the end of the bat from Siri. 1-2.
And Jose Siri, 1 for 12 on the season. That's an 083 average. You have to expand the zone with a guy like that. Obviously not seeing the baseball very well, either above the strike zone or below the strike zone.
And he does have good power, so you really don't want to give him something too enticing. He's not going to be a center fielder that hits for a very high average, but in his best seasons, he can go for 20 home runs. The 1-2. Swing and a pop-up, foul territory in between home and first. Guerrero scrambling over, makes the catch underhanded, and avoids Kirk, who is charging toward him as well. That'll end the inning. For a second straight frame, Bassitt surrenders a leadoff double and then shuts it down from there. No score after 2 at Citi Field. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Enter Night Mode.
It's a stylish Friday night in the city.
Every Friday home game.
No doubter.
Where we celebrate everything that makes our city one of a kind. Would you always feel like part of the show? On Friday, April 18th, be at the ballpark early and get your Blue Jays City Connect Bomber Jacket giveaway presented by Enercare. The first 50,000 fans will be geared up for spring nights in the city. City Connect Fridays. Night Mode. Lights up. Let's go. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win, breakaway, pick six, three-point shot, underdog win, buzzed, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
A drive to deep center field. Trout at the wall and watches it sail.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Top of the third inning and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. leading it off for the Blue Jays. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Appreciate you tuning in tonight. No score between the Blue Jays and Mets. Both teams have stranded runners in scoring position both innings. We'll see if someone can break through here in the third. The Blue Jays would love it to be them with Vlad, Anthony Santander, and Andres Jimenez to up this inning.
No time like the present for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. to go deep.
No home runs yet on the season for Guerrero, who's 8 for 31 after his strikeout in the first. 3 doubles, 3 RBIs, 4 walks. First pitch from Griffin Canning is hit behind the plate, out of play, foul, 0-1.
He's definitely starting to see the ball a little bit better, taking better swings. Was 2 for 3 in yesterday's ball game. It's only a matter of time before he really starts to hit with some power.
The 0-1. Slider looked like it got the zone, although he missed his spot heavily. It's called a ball, 1-1.
Yeah, Griffin Canning was staring in at home plate umpire Emil Jimenez.
The 1-1. Called strike 1 and 2. Vlad struck out on a fastball in the first inning. The 1-2 pitch is a changeup popped up right side. Pete Alonso onto the outfield grass to make the catch. 1 out. The third inning is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center in head of St. Margaret's Bay in Hammond Plains, Nova Scotia. Crown is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated since 1986, so protect your vehicle from rust today at your local Crown Rust Control Center. Visit crown.com. Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. 1 out, Anthony Santander to hit. He walked back in the first inning, was stranded at third. The pitch. Swing and a miss and a back foot slider. 0-1. Still waiting to see the extra base hit power of Santander as well. Has 1 extra base hit this year, a double. 1 pitch way up and in, 1 ball, 1 strike.
And that first pitch from Griffin Canning, you have to question the approach for Anthony Santander. That was a ball out of the hand. There's no way he should be swinging at that pitch, but yet he does.
1-1. He swings and hits a pop-up third base side foul, but that's going to get into the Blue Jay dugout. 1-2.
So once he cleans up the approach, once he starts swinging at pitches that he knows he can barrel up and drive, things will start to turn around for him.
Canning with a breath, steps to the left, kicks and deals. 1-2 hit on the ground to second. Picked up there, Brett Beatty. He'll throw the first 2 outs.
That changeup's really good. To go along with that slider that he's throwing so much now. I mean, I know that Griffin Canning historically hasn't been a really, really good starter, but if he's going to reinvent himself with that slider, with that really good changeup, he might have found something.
Yeah, it's a big change early on from last season. Canning had the highest ERA among qualified starters in the American League last year. His first pitch to Andres Jimenez hit foul 0-1. Not only that, but he also gave up 31 home runs last year, which was tied with Jose Barrios for second most in the American League. He had a tough time. The 0-1. Downstairs with the change, 1 ball, 1 strike. But the Mets brought him in, and this is a thing that David Stearns did very well last year, and they're trying to continue doing, bringing in guys on short-term deals or guys with not a lot of history of success and reworking them. 1-1 pitch is right at the knees with the change, strike 2.
And it's not so much the results. I'm just watching his pitches and the way they move, and it's pretty impressive.
He's allowed 2 hits and 2 walks in 2 2/3. He's also struck out 4. It's 2 outs and the base is empty. No score. Top of the 3rd inning. He waves off one sign. Now he nods. And the 1-2 to Jimenez. Fouled back. On a 1-year, $4.25 million contract with the Mets. One, 2 again. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Just challenged him with 92 down the middle and beat him. 5th K of the day for Canning in 3 scoreless innings. No score in the game. Middle of the 3rd. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on SiriusXM. We're back on the track Sunday,
2 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Goodyear 400 from Darlington Raceway on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 in the car and on the SiriusXM app. For up-to-date betting lines, fantasy plays, and the latest NASCAR news, catch the pre-race show before every Cup Series race. Plus, 2 hours of post-race coverage on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on SiriusXM Channel 89 and every morning on the SiriusXM app.
VEASAN, the sports betting network, is back on SiriusXM. Go to channel 158 for informed wagering and fantasy advice from familiar voices like Gil Alexander, Paulie Howard, and Mitch Moss. Plus, SiriusXM mainstays Adam Shine, Rich Gannon, and the guru, John Hansen. We're getting you ready for the upcoming games with a finger on the pulse of the latest news and the moving lines and odds. VEASAN, the sports betting network, is now on SiriusXM 158 and on the SiriusXM app.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. Hit a home run on your next home improvement. For a great selection of renovation products and quality brands, Timbermart has the bases loaded for a grand slam on every project. Batter up, Timbermart. is Canada's Building Center. I'm Ben Schulman. Next to me, Chris LaRue. Joe Ali, our host. Nick Blackmore, our producer. Tom Young, our technical director. Guess we should have expected not a lot of offense early on a cold day in New York City. No score. Bottom of the third starts with Chris Bassitt delivering strike one to Hayden Senger, 0-1.
But both guys are pitching really, really well. Chris Bassitt, of course, has that sinker going. And then Griffin Canning for the Mets has pitched really well as well.
Bassitt winds 0-1. Swing and a miss at a big sweeping breaking ball. 0-2.
Sometimes I'd blame the cold for the lack of offense. If you see a lot of fastballs down the middle, that's the cold. But both starting pitchers are locating their stuff really well.
Number 9 hitter for the Mets, the 0-2 to Senger. And he chops it just over the mound. Tough play, charging at Jimenez. Gloves, throws to first in time for the out. Can only imagine the wet field made that even tougher for Andres Jimenez, but he made the play.
Well, if there's one guy that can make that play with a wet ball, it's Andres Jimenez. What a play. Close at first base, too.
And Senger, for a catcher, got down the line pretty well. But one out for Bassitt, probably a sigh of relief. It's the first inning of the 3 that he didn't allow a double to lead off the inning. But he'll get the top of the order now. Francisco Lindor, the pitch. Chopped off of the back ankle. Lindor hops across the plate on his left foot. 0-1.
I'll tell you what, that My Girl by the Temptations, that is a winner.
He's going to keep it.
The whole stadium sings the song. Why not keep it?
It almost reminds me, I forget the name of the song, but Bryson Stott has a song in Philly that they sing almost every time. There was a big clip a couple years ago. He hits the home run off the Marlins in the playoffs right after it. If you can get a song that everyone's singing to, you kind of have to keep it. MVP chance for Lindor, who doubled in the first. The 0-1. Downstairs, 1 ball, 1 strike.
A-OK by Ty Verdes?
Yeah.
How do you say that? Is it Verdes? Ty Verdes?
Your best guess is as good as mine.
Well, it's a winner. That's all I know.
The wind to the 1-1. Breaking ball. Uncomfortable swing there from Lindor. 1-2. He just went around.
Yeah, that slow breaking ball is working really well for Chris Bassitt tonight.
Bassitt goes to his right hip, protecting the view of his hand with his blue glove. Here's 1-2. Swing and a fly ball, shallow left center. Rodin is charging in. He can't see it. Now he can, and he makes the catch. He had his hands out for a moment, lost his cap in the wind, but he makes the play.
It's almost like Alan Rodin loses that cap every single time he catches a fly ball. Might need to get a tighter cap.
And maybe he's a 7 2/8 guy instead of a 7 3/8 guy. Maybe he didn't lose it. He was yelling, "I got it," but his palms were facing the sky, which is usually a bad sign for an outfielder. 2 quick outs for Chris Bassitt, and that's how you want it when Juan Soto's at the plate. No one on. The pitch. Outside ball 1. It is fun to watch Soto in the box. Looks that ball right into the glove, leaning over the plate. He's never standing still. I don't know if we've ever seen anyone like Soto. There are copycats now. The 1-0. High, 2-0.
Well, there's definitely a lot of copycats in Little League Baseball. That is for sure.
He's just always doing something. He's marking somewhere on his body with his hand right now. Crouches down really low, wiggles his hips, and now turns out his right heel to face Chris Bassitt. The 2-0. Called strike, tight cutter on the inside corner, 2-1.
That's a great pitch coming inside. Might have clipped the inside part of that black, but a tough pitch. Again, I think Chris Bassitt might have missed his spot, but a good miss.
Into the wind, here's his next one. Swing and a miss. Soto unloaded on that high sinker, but missed it 2-2.
How about that? Blowing 90 by him. Maybe he's expecting that slow breaking ball.
Perhaps it's the cold, but Chris Bassitt's velocity has been down, but his sinker has been very effective nonetheless. The 2-2. Foul tip, strike 3. Got him on his sinker. 1-2-3 inning for Bassitt, who's retired the last 6 in a row. Now can the bats help him out? It's 0-0 as we go to the 4th at Citi Field. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Did you know you can get home and away feeds for every MLB, NHL, and NBA game on your phone?
3 for the win. He got it!
Every game, all season. It's all on the SiriusXM app.
It's out of here!
Sports, the way they're meant to be heard. With your hometown announcers just a tap away.
It is gone! An incredible finish!
Search for your team and tap the plus sign to add it to your library. Every game, all season. Get closer to your team with the SiriusXM app.
Shoot, he scores!
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Out of here! Yohei Ohtani Connect!
From in-season fantasy baseball management to daily fantasy basketball to getting you ready for the NFL Draft, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
We begin our quest for another championship right now. Winning is everything. It's it. It's all there is.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on SiriusXM. We're back on the track Sunday,
2 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Goodyear 400 from Darlington Raceway on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 in the car and on the SiriusXM app. For up-to-date betting lines, fantasy plays, and the latest NASCAR news, catch the pre-race show before every Cup Series race. Plus, 2 hours of post-race coverage on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90. 24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90.
It's the 4th inning, presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. No score between the Blue Jays and Mets as we resume in the top of the 4th. I'm Ben Schulman. To my left is Chris LaRue. The pitch to Alejandro Kirk. Called strike. Griffin Canning just threw his 60th pitch of the start. His 0-1. Hit on the ground foul, third base side, 0-2. After nearly 50 pitches in his first 2 innings, he had a really quick third. So now some of the hopes of knocking him out of the game early might be gone for the Blue Jays unless they can rally here with Kirk, Springer, Wagner duo. Righty's 2-strike offering. Way high, ball 1.
Yeah, and in Griffin Canning's last start against the Houston Astros, he threw 87 pitches. So I'm assuming he'll throw 95, maybe 100 if all things are going well for him.
1-2 is hit hard on the ground, sliding stop Alonso at first. He gets up, goes to the bag. Nice play, 1 out.
Yeah, pretty good play from Pete Alonso over there. Again, Alejandro Kirk is so good at slapping that baseball the other way. He does it there, but unfortunately right at Pete Alonso. Pretty good play, though.
So 1 out, and let's go over to the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. 100% Canadian-owned and operated since 1992. Catch the new menu starting in just 3 days, April 8th. Visit stlouiswings.com for details. You are welcome. The pitch to George Springer is low, ball 1. Couple finals already. Have the Baltimore Orioles crushing the Kansas City Royals today, 8-1 at Kauffman Stadium. 1-0 to Springer. Swing and a miss, 1-1. Gunnar Henderson returned to the lineup yesterday. Was back at the top of the order today, although he struggled. He went 0 for 5 with a golden sombrero, 4 strikeouts. 1-1. Way up and in. Springer down to the seat of his pants, getting out of the way of that 92-mile-per-hour fastball. 2-1.
Not a comfortable look on George Springer's face right now. Obviously, no intent there, but Griffin Canning maybe losing a little bit of grip on that baseball.
That was the first fastball Springer's seen today. All sliders in his first plate appearance. Changeup and slider before that heater in this one. The 2-1. Slider called a strike. Might have been outside. It's 2-2. Other final on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. 10 runs for the Yankees today. in a 10-4 win over Pittsburgh. They rallied for 6, did the Bronx Bombers in the 5th inning. 2-2. Low ball 3. That was Marcus Stroman today for the Yankees. He didn't have a great start. 4 innings, gave up 4 runs. Had 3 walks in those 4 innings, but the Yankees picked him up offensively. No score in this one. 1 out, top of the 4th. Bases are empty. George Springer at the plate in a full count. Canning fiddling around with the ball in his glove. Now the 3-2. Called strike 3, and Springer turning around protesting, and with good reason. 5 balls, truthfully, thrown in that at-bat. 2 of them called for strikes, so he goes down for number 6 strikeout on the day for Canning.
Well, that was the worst one of the bunch. That was about a ball off the plate. Very obviously a ball out of the arm of Griffin Canning, and George Springer did not like it, turned around and had a couple of words for Emil Jimenez. I would have done the exact same thing.
The pitch down to Will Wagner, swinging a miss, strike 1. And the first miss in that at bat, okay, it's a slider. It started on the plate. It's breaking away a little closer. That's a fastball. That was a ball all the way. Pitch 71 today for Canning. Down and in.
Yeah, that's a tough at bat. 1 bad call, sure, I can deal with that. But like you said, 5 balls in that at bat.
The 1-1. Wagner takes it inside, nearly got hit in the back again. Second time he's twisted out of the way today.
You can see George Springer in the dugout right now, almost baffled looking at that iPad.
That's going to confirm a lot of his feelings when he looks at strike 2 and then strike 3. The 2-1 to Wagner downstairs, 3-1 count. Just to tie a knot on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out of town scoreboard. For those monitoring the Final Four in March Madness, it's Florida 64, Auburn 63 in a matchup of maybe the 2 best teams in the country. 5 minutes to go. 3-1 to Wagner, called to strike 3 and 2. And then at Scotiabank Arena, the Maple Leafs trying to further their chances to win their division, leading the division by 3 points over Tampa Bay coming into tonight, and they're leading the Columbus Blue Jackets 1-0 in the second. 3-2 to Wagner, fouled off the glove of Senger, and that's an extra life for Will Wagner, nearly a foul tip strikeout.
Ben, what are the chances the Habs and the Leafs play in the first round?
Let me look at the wild
I need to get my Canadians jersey dry cleaned.
Oh, boy. I would say arguably very high. If the Leafs win the division, Canadians could be the second wild card. That's a distinct possibility. Columbus trying to catch Montreal. 3-2 again. Swing and a soft grounder up the first baseline. Just rolls foul. Alonso picks it up just before the bag, and it's like a guardian angel is looking out for Will Wagner right now. He has just snuck away from the last 2 pitches to stay alive.
Yeah, that was fair, almost 85 feet down the line, and then as soon as it got to the first base bag, took a quick right turn. Unfortunately for Griffin Canning, that would have been easy out at first base for Pete Alonso.
Alonso was practically on the bag when he picked it up. For Canning, it drives the pitch count up further, about to throw his 77th. Righty into the wind, deals home. Swing and a ground ball foul off the foot of Wagner, who falls down to the dirt, getting up back now. And he'll walk around, take off the helmet for a second. He's seen 8 pitches. He's fouled off the last 3.
Ben, how would you like to hit a baseball off the top of your foot on a night like tonight?
It's one of the few things that makes me happy I wasn't a Major League Baseball player, not having to do that. Another 3-2. Swing and a fly ball left side, slicing out of play, foul. We'll have a 10th pitch of this at-bat coming up.
Well, he's fouled off some tough pitches. That one right there was a fastball on the black outside. Was able to get the barrel to it.
Canning winds and offers. Low ball 4. He saw 10 pitches and the full complement from Griffin Canning. Will Wagner walks down to first base and extends this inning for Miles Straw.
Such a good at-bat. Got a little bit lucky with that ground ball to first base going foul, but other than that, he took a lot of tough pitches, fouled off some tough ones, and he's at first base with 2 outs in this inning.
First pitch to Straw. Called strike 0-1.
Straw didn't like that one either, having a quick conversation with the home plate umpire.
That one actually looked a bit better, although it was a big miss. It was a changeup that just dropped into the top of the zone. From the stretch with Wagner on first. Canning kicks and deals. Missed way up and outside. Ball 1. You start to wonder now with the pitch count up above 80 and the command faltering a little bit, maybe the Blue Jays can chase Griffin Canning out of this game a bit early. Chris had mentioned 87 pitches in his last start. Here's his 82nd pitch of this start. And it's outside, 2-1.
It's a lot like the pitch that he called for strike 3 on George Springer.
It is. Could see Springer giving it to Straw a little bit on that. Teammates that go back to Houston days together. The 2-1. Swing and a ground ball up the middle. Fielded by Lindor. Underhand flip to second to end the inning. No runs, no hits. One left for the Blue Jays. No score, middle of the 4th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center. Your home team advantage with the right materials and the right price. Project know-how that's brought together a wealth of plans and solid advice. Trust your team at your locally owned Timber Mart. Find your location at timbermart.ca.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center, a solid neighbor to call upon when you've got a job to do. Your dependable home improvement store that offers the added value of Air Miles reward miles with every purchase of $15 or more. For a participating location, visit timbermart.ca.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Bases loaded. The 0-2 swung on and missed. Strike 3.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRusso, our host, Nick Blackmore, our producer, Tom Young, our technical director. A cold day in Flushing. The Blue Jays and Mets tied at 0. It's been all about the pitchers as Chris Bassitt delivers strike 1 to start off the inning. He gets ahead of Pete Alonso.
He delivers another beautiful sinker on the inside part, maybe even off the plate just a little bit. But so much movement to that sinker tonight.
Here's 0-1 downstairs. So, Chris, you had mentioned when Alonso hit first how improbable it was he hit that ball out. Pitched down and away yesterday from Gausman. Both crazy that he got to the pitch, and then it just didn't seem like the ball was going out, but it did. The 1-1. Called strike at the knees, 1-2.
Let's hear it. I know you have the probability.
Well, no, actually, I'm going a little more feel than analytics.
All right.
Interesting comments from SNY's great play-by-play broadcaster, Gary Cohen, who covers the Mets. I want to get the quote right, and I want to reiterate, this is his quote, not my quote. So we'll wait first for Bassitt, who takes a breath, nods, gets into the line, and the 1-2. Just outside. In relation to that home run, Cohen said, quote, "The ball has really been carrying early in the season. You have to be awfully strong to do it, but that was a shocking home run." A little bit taken out of the middle of the quote. Now he says, "It certainly makes you consider what might be going on, whether the baseball might be a little bit more jumpy than it was last year." End quote from Gary Cohen, the 2-2. Called strike 3. Bassitt gets the benefit of one. That was definitely below the zone, but he punches out Alonso on the change. 1 down.
Well, that might have been a gift from Emil Jimenez because he had Pete Alonso struck out earlier in the at-bat. Said a couple things to Jimenez, the home plate umpire, and then he got that call there. Probably about a half an inch below the strike, so not a bad pitch, but it didn't look like a strike to me.
Well, now it's even. George Springer strikes out on a ball. Pete Alonso strikes out on a ball. The pitch to Brandon Nimmo is definitely a strike, 0-1.
Well, I don't know if George Springer will agree with you, but... But if you go back to Pete Alonso's home run, the flag yesterday was blowing in from left. It was almost like a crosswind, so maybe that helped it.
Oh, one pitch high, 1-1.
It was blowing left in from left field, maybe kind of cross to right field. I don't know. Is there something going on? Who knows?
Yeah,
Pete Alonso's so strong. How do you say that he doesn't deserve to hit that ball out?
For sure. A guy who's hit over 50 in a season. 1-1. Swing and a miss. 1-2. Yeah, not saying I agree with it, by the way. Not much of a theorist, for lack of a better term, but just something he said. Flew across the computer screen. Base is empty, 1 out, bottom 4. The 1-2 to Nimmo. High and outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Brandon Nimmo in his familiar cleanup spot, now a left fielder. Other points in his career with the Mets, more in center field or even a little time in right as well. Two. Swing and a fly ball, right center field. Straw curling in front of the warning track to make the catch. 2 outs.
Another good sinker started at the front hip of Nimmo. You could see Chris Bassitt giving a little smirk to Nimmo as he crosses him, but it got in on him just enough. If that ball came back over the plate like we saw a little bit last year when Chris Bassitt was facing left-handed hitters, that ball's probably out.
Instead, though, Miles Straw flagged it down. 2 outs, base is empty, no score. And Jesse Winker, the third batter to hit here in the bottom of the 4th. Bassitt's pitch. Swing and a line drive, right field, and it bounces past Springer to the warning track. Winker racing around first, headed for second. He'll make the turn for third. Throw comes into Guerrero, and Jesse Winker slides in safe at third base. That was a fastball left over the plate, but looked like it was going to be a single until it skipped past George Springer on the wet grass, and Jesse Winker 90 feet away from the plate.
Well, it looked like George Springer might have tried to attempt to dive in and catch that baseball at the last second. He realized he couldn't get to it and tried to block it on one hop, but like you said, it just skipped by him, and Jesse Winker's at third base with 2 outs in this inning. A big at-bat coming for Chris Bassitt.
They credit Winker with a triple, his second extra base hit of the day. Mark Vientos to hit for the Mets, trying to break the deadlock. 2 outs, bottom of the 4th. Winker in the eye line of Bassitt leading off third, and the pitch. Check swing on a pitch inside, appeal down to first, and he did go around, says Doug Eddings, 0-1.
And now you expand. That's a big run standing out at third base. Do not throw anything in the strike zone here.
Don't want to do Vientos any favors. He's 2 for 28 to begin his season. He struck out with Winker on second in the second. The 0-1. Fouled off of Alejandro Kirk's glove, 0-2.
Well, if you're going to throw something in the strike zone, might as well make it move like that. A good sinker on the inner third of that plate.
Bassitt climbs up the first base side of the hill and steps onto the rubber, and Vientos is going to ice him and ask for some time. Pulled enough for Vientos that he's pulled that head cover over his mouth. You can just see from kind of the bottom of the nose up in his face. Still donning the eye black on a cold night in New York. The 0-2. Good breaking ball. Vientos with an even better take. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, tough take for him. That was in the strike zone until the very last second. You could tell Vientos was out in front just a little bit, but was able to keep the bat back.
The 1-2. Breaking ball even further outside. Skips. Kirk picked it through to third, but Winker got back in standing up. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes, and Kirk just saved a run, sprawling off to his right.
I've never liked when catchers throw down to bases with 2 outs. especially as a pitcher, because sometimes if you throw the ball away, it doesn't give me the opportunity to get out of that inning.
Right, and the risk reward.
Right.
You hardly ever backpick a guy. Not that you should never do it. Now Chris Bassitt, I think, has something in his right eye. Hunched over on the mound for a moment. Kirk, the infield, and home plate umpire Emil Jimenez coming in, and Jose Ministral is out to help out Chris Bassitt. Bassitt's holding open his right eye, dragging up his eyelid, and testing it out now, giving some nods. So whatever was in there isn't in there anymore. Mets trying to put on the pressure, or rather their fans are, with Let's Go Mets chants at Citi Field. Well, Bassitt, the former Met, used to that. One of the best pitchers in Citi Field's history. His 2.74 ERA at Citi Field coming into today. Fourth best among pitchers who have thrown at least 100 innings at the newer Mets ballpark. Only guys who've been better there: Jacob deGrom, Max Scherzer, and Gio Gonzalez, who would have done it a lot as a national.
Gio Gonzalez?
Oh, yeah.
That's the guy that I wouldn't have guessed in that
ahead
list.
Of Scherzer and deGrom.
Although he was pretty good back in the day.
He had a few fewer innings than some of those other guys. 2-2. Hit back foul.
They wanted to get that cutter up above the strike zone, but he threw it down almost belt high in the middle of that zone. Not where you want that pitch.
Bassitt blows some hot air into his right hand. You can see his breath on a chilly night in New York. Runner on third, 2 down, no score, bottom 4. And the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him to chase the cutter. A scream from Bassitt and a scream of the opposite emotion from Mark Vientos as it's 4 scoreless for Chris Bassitt. We go to the 5th in a 0-0 game. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The Yukon Huskies are back in the national championship game.
Don't miss a second of the NCAA Women's Championship game on Sirius XM.
Kip puts it on the deck, steps through Euro, glass and score!
Hear the women's title game tomorrow afternoon at 3 Eastern as South Carolina takes on Yukon.
The South Carolina Gamecocks take round 4.
Listen to Westwood One's coverage on Sirius XM College Sports Radio Channel 84 and the Sirius XM app.
Hey, Beckers cans a triple!
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Out of here! Yohei Ohtani Connect!
From in-season fantasy baseball management to daily fantasy basketball to getting you ready for the NFL Draft, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
We begin our quest for another championship right now. Winning is everything. It's it. It's all there is.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the Sirius XM app.
Get ready for the 2025 NFL Draft on Sirius XM NFL Radio.
With the first pick, the Tennessee Titans select.
We caught up with the top prospects as they get ready to start their careers in the NFL.
Miami Hurricane quarterback Cam Ward.
My journey's been unbelievable.
And hear pick-by-pick coverage of the 2025 Draft from Green Bay starting April 24th at 8 p.m. Eastern on Sirius XM NFL Radio Channel 88 and the Sirius XM app.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on Sirius XM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
5th inning in Queens, and the Blue Jays and Mets still deadlocked at 0. Toronto looking for its first run of this series in Game 2. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Griffin Canning back out. His pitch to Alan Roden, called strike. Roden with a walk his first time up. A heck of a plate appearance from the rookie. The 0-1. High, 1 ball, 1 strike.
I don't know if you saw that, Ben, but Jakob Poeltl's in the stands watching this game right now. The Raptors play the Brooklyn Nets tomorrow.
Why not swing by? The 1-1. Called strike, 1-2. By the way, we'll check back with the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. If basketball's on your mind, Florida up 74-68, 90 seconds to go in the national semifinal. Looks like the Gators might be going back to the title game. 1-2 to Roden is hit sharply on the ground past the dive of Alonso at first and dying in shallow right field. Roden with a turn, but he'll stick up at first. He's got a leadoff single.
That outfield grass is still soaking wet. As that ball was rotating on the grass, just water spraying everywhere.
We just haven't seen enough offense yet from either team for it to factor in, but you'd figure if there's another base hit today with a runner on base, there could be havoc on the diamond at Citi Field. Bo Bichette is up, runner on first, no outs. Canning's 88th pitch of the start is a changeup perfectly located for strike one. Just dropped it on the knees.
That baseball actually stopped about 10 feet in front of Juan Soto in right field. Alan Roden could have potentially taken a chance and taken second. I'm not saying do that, but you never know.
It's a big call for a rookie. The 0-1. Swing and a line drive over the leap of Lindor down in left center. Sherrick quickly cuts it off, so Roden will stop at second. But the Blue Jays have back-to-back hits for the first time today and 2 on with nobody out.
Yeah, a little slider that was supposed to be down and away from Griffin Canning, but it ended up just spinning up at the top of the strike zone, and Bo Bichette hammered that thing. Maybe not got, I don't think he got it on the barrel, but he got just enough of it to dump it into center field. Now the Blue Jays are cooking, runners on first and second and nobody out in this inning.
It's got to feel nice for Bichette. His last hit was that game-winning hit against the Nationals on April 1st. He had been 0 for since, but not anymore. And he has knocked Griffin Canning out of this ballgame after back-to-back singles. Canning is done. Pitching change for the Mets, which is brought to you by Home Hardware. Cover all your project spaces with the Bring Beauty Tone Home Sale. For more of the St. Louis Bar and Grill Out of Town scoreboard, let's go back to our host today, Show Ali.
Thanks very much, guys. Let's check some scores on the Out of Town scoreboard brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Let's start in Major League Baseball. A lot of finals, actually. So first of all, the Red Sox, technically not a final. They were due to play the Cardinals today, but they got rained out at Fenway. There will be a doubleheader tomorrow in Boston. First pitch tomorrow will fly around 1:35 p.m. Eastern. So, set your fantasy lineups accordingly. Some other finals around the division. We have Chris LaRue's Yankees beating up Chris LaRue's Pirates, 10-4 the final score. Trent Grisham homering twice, including a 3-run shot to fuel a 6-run fifth-inning rally. Paul Goldschmidt also had 3 hits for New York, who now have a record 25 home runs through 8 games. Over in Kansas City, the Orioles beating up on the Royals 8-1. The O's win that game. Tomoyuki Sugano, who, if you guys recall, left to start against the Jays with cramping. He went 5 1/3. He allowed 5 hits, just the 1 run, and he did get the win as well. Meanwhile, on offense, Canada's own Tyler O'Neill did have a 2-run triple in the 7th, and otherwise a ton of RBI base hits prior to that. Because it is a Saturday night, we have a ton of hockey to get to. And going on right now, Toronto is up 2-0. The Toronto Maple Leafs, thanks to Nick Robertson getting not 1 but 2 goals at Scotiabank Arena against the Blue Jackets. You can watch the game on Sportsnet and the CBC. Chris Cuthbert, Craig Simpson on the call. And after the game, Leafs Talk with Bunkus and McKee will go on Sportsnet Plus and on Sportsnet's YouTube page. Blue Jays Baseball, as always, is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the action. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thanks so much, Joe. Jose Butto into the game for the New York Mets. First reliever for New York in this one. He's one of their best. Their bullpen has pitched very well this year. We'll see Butto come up against Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Best chance maybe all day for the Blue Jays to score. It's runners on first and second and nobody out. Righty's first pitch is inside, ball 1. Butto was in competition last season with Tyler McGill for the 5th starting spot. Lost that competition, ended up in the Mets pen, and was fantastic as a reliever. The 1-0. Check swing foul off, 1-1. He came back to the Mets in July as a reliever after some starts early on. Had a flat 2 ERA in 36 innings and pitched in big spots in the playoffs as well. Comes set, looks at Roden on second, the 1-1. Swing and a sharp grounder hit through the whole left side. Roden getting the wave around third. He races in to score the first run of the game on Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s RBI single. 1-0 Blue Jays.
And that's kind of the situation that I was talking about before the game. Carlos Fabulous, the Blue Jays third base coach probably wouldn't send Alan Roden in that situation. Nobody out. You're already in scoring position standing at third base, but that grass is soaking wet, like we said, and it actually slowed down quite a bit before left fielder Brandon Nimmo picked it up. An easy send for a third base coach who's really smart.
Nimmo never even thought about the play, just flipped it back into third. So that run will be charged to Griffin Canning, who just exited. Still first and second, nobody out. Here's Anthony Santander. Buto's pitch. Swing and a high fly ball, right field, backing up Soto. He'll make the catch. Bassitt tagging from second, taking off for third, and the throw goes back into second. Loud contact for Santander. It's an out, but it advances Bassitt to third. Runners on the corners with one down.
Well, Anthony Santander was just out in front of that changeup from Buto. Pretty good swing by him. A good line drive. Just hit it off the end of the bat just a little bit.
First out recorded for Buto, who has a four-seamer, sinker, slider, sweeper, and change. Over half the time last year, he threw his fastballs, a lot of sliders when he doesn't. But he's got a left-handed hitter now in Andres Jimenez. You could see some changeups. The pitch. Breaking ball misses outside, ball one.
It's a big run standing at third base in this 1-0 ball game right now. 2 runs might do it.
Guerrero on first. Bassitt on third. 1-0 Blue Jays, top of the fifth. The pitch. High and outside, ball two. It's a matchup here of two guys from Venezuela signed with the Mets for their first pro contracts. Jimenez debuting in 2020 and Buto in 2022. Righty's 2-0. Down and in. Went with the change that time, but missed. And Jimenez can get comfortable. 3 balls and no strikes.
Yeah, you can tell Buto didn't want to throw him anything good, 2-0. And I'm assuming that he won't want to throw him anything good, 3-0 either.
Alejandro Kirk on deck. He set up a couple more forces if you walk him. 3-0. Fastball over the heart of the plate. Strike one.
Challenged him. Surprising, especially with that run standing at third base.
Jimenez twirls around the bat a couple times, now brings it above his left shoulder. Waiting for the 3-1. Swing and a hard grounder, foul, just went wide of the bag. Could have been extra bases. Full count now for Buto against Jimenez. 1 out, first and third. 1-0 Toronto, top of the fifth. They just got one on the Guerrero RBI single. And a turn and throw to first. Guerrero back to first, standing up.
It seemed like Buto just wanted a breather there. I don't think Vlad's going anywhere.
No. Even in a full count, I'd be surprised. 3-2. Swing and a foul off behind the plate. Spinning breaking ball over the middle. Jimenez missed a cookie. Ten pitches so far for Buto, who gave up this single to Guerrero and then got Santander to line out. Another payoff. In the dirt, ball 4. A walk for Jimenez, and the bases are loaded for the Blue Jays.
That's actually not a bad result for Buto. I probably wouldn't have wanted to give Jimenez a good pitch to hit there. Now you set up the double play, and as we know, Alejandro Kirk is an easy double play candidate.
Jeremy Hefner, the pitching coach, is going to go out to the mound and talk to his reliever. Tyler Infield for the Mets comes in as well. That we can welcome you to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman, alongside Chris LaRue. Show Ali is our host today. He and Julia Kreutz will have Blue Jays talk after the game. Nick Blackmore, our producer. Tom Young, our technical director. Very gray matchup today. Blue Jays in light gray. Mets City Connects darker gray. And a cold weather day in New York. Bases loaded. The pitch to Alejandro Kirk. Check swing. Pitch down and away. Appeal to third. He did go, and it looked like it to the naked eye. 0-1.
We'll get a slow motion side view here. It was close, but could have gone either way.
He didn't turn the wrists, but the bat was pretty far out there. Infield playing back. They're looking for a ground ball double play. Bases loaded, 1 out. The 0-1. High, 1 ball, 1 strike. Alejandro Kirk, typically very selective. Although he has not walked yet this year. Blue Jays in game 9 of the season. The 1-1. Down and away, he takes it. 2 balls, 1 strike.
It's a big pitch right here. You don't want to fall behind 3-1. Really zone up if you're Alejandro Kirk. Wait for your pitch.
Are you looking for something up to elevate it?
I don't know what he looks for, but you're looking for a pitch that he would generally be able to barrel up.
2-1 pitch is lifted foul, first base side, and that ball is going to get out of play. 2-2.
That's a good pitch to swing at. A fastball, kind of knee high, middle. I mean, if you're probably looking for a good pitch to hit, that was it. He just missed it.
Kirk looking to drive in at least 1 with the bases loaded, 1 out. Buto looking for a strikeout. Bassitt on third, Guerrero on second, Jimenez on first. The 2-2. Foul tip, strike 3. Got him to chase up and in, and there are 2 down.
That's a really tough pitch from Buto. A fastball up and in, right at the hands, impossible to hit.
It's a sinker, so it started over the plate and just ran in and in and in.
As a hitter, you see that coming and you think you can hit it, you think you can get to it, and it just absolutely eats you up. That's why that pitch is so good.
First pitch to George Springer, down and away, ball 1. 0 for 2 today with 2 strikeouts, but this is the guy you want up right now for the Blue Jays. 11 hits for Springer in the first 8 games. The 1-0. Swing and a miss. George Springer's had a pretty good career, and that's understating it a lot. This is the best 8-game start in terms of batting average that he's had in his career. Entering today, hitting .440, still in the 400s right now, despite the 0 for 2. The pitch to Springer. Downstairs, called a strike. He just can't buy one right now. Emil Jimenez opens up the floodgates when George Springer's up. It's 1-2. That pitch clearly wrong.
George didn't like that one either, bending and kind of stretching that back out.
The 1-2. Swing and a ground ball. Picked up deep in the hole by Lindor. Skips over to first in time to get Springer and end the inning. The Blue Jays get 1 on the Guerrero RBI single, but they had 3 hits and a walk. They do leave the bases loaded, so it's just 1-0 Toronto, middle of the 5th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Sports Grid Radio is covering the lines, odds, and props for every major sporting event. The Final Four.
Cinderella's a cute story. Cinderella always goes home at midnight.
MLB opening week.
They are stacked, and the Dodgers had that win total yesterday, posted at 103.5 for good reason.
And the NFL Draft and the Masters are on the horizon.
He's already sub 5-1 to win the green jacket.
If you're betting on it, we're covering it.
They're plus 320 price right now to win the World Series.
Sports Grid Radio, channel 159 in the car and on the SiriusXM app.
Hello, Blue Jay fans. I'm Craig Ballard, host of your daily Locked On Blue Jays podcast. Locked On Blue Jays is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Locked On Blue Jays brings you the latest Blue Jays news and analysis and breaks down all of the action. Locked On Blue Jays is everything a Blue Jays fan could want, all in a 30-minute daily podcast. Download Locked On Blue Jays right now on the SXM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or wherever you get your podcasts. Search Locked On Blue Jays.
While you're listening to this game on SiriusXM, we're talking about the latest odds and prop bets for this and every game on Sports Grid Radio.
The under's minus 125. Heavy juice to the under.
Every home run hit and every strikeout thrown can change the line.
I can't for the life of me figure out how you can favor a team that never wins, ever.
If you're looking for sports talk centered around the latest odds and prop bets for games, races, tournaments, or any sporting event, Sports Grid Radio. Sirius XM, Channel 159.
In season or out of season, the number one place for college sports is Sirius XM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Network.
Blue Jays baseball is presented by Crown Rust Protection. Welcome back, top of the fifth. Blue Jays in New York taking on the Mets, and they're leading now for the first time. 1-0 thanks to the RBI single from Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Gives just a thin cushion for Chris Bassitt, who steps back on the hill and faces the bottom third of the Met order, starting with Brett Beatty, the pitch. Swing and a foul off, 0-1. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Brett Beatty now a second baseman for the New York Mets. Last couple of years, he was a big prospect for them at third base. The 0-1. Hammered foul, 0-2. 12th overall pick by the Mets out of high school in Austin, Texas. Actually has a bit of a New York connection. He was a multi-sport athlete in high school. Played football with current Jets wide receiver Garrett Wilson. But Beatty shot through the system. Called up for 2023, did not hit very well. Won the opening day job last year at third base, and again struggled and was passed by Mark Vientos, who ended up taking control of that job in the second half in playoffs. 0-2. Foul back. So now he's done it for a third time. He's made the team again. Another opening day for Brett Beatty. But can he figure out a way to produce in the big leagues like he has so often in the minors? Early on, he's 1 for 15.
Yeah, and a career .211 hitter with 15 homers, 55 RBIs.
The 0-2. Called strike three. Missed his spot, but a great miss for Chris Bassitt. 7th punch out on the day, 1 out.
Brett Beatty didn't like that call, but that just clipped the inside part of the black. And like you said, missed his spot by quite a bit. Umpires don't really give pitchers the benefit of the doubt when you miss your spot that much, but that is a good pitch on the inside part to Brett Beatty.
It's kind of a flip a coin zone today. First pitch to Jose Siri, called a strike.
Hey, that was a strike.
Oh, that was a very good call. I think that ball just got over. If you look at the pitch tracking, it would agree. But you really don't know exactly how it's going to go. The 0-1 is hit foul, 0-2.
Chris Bassitt is rolling right now, throwing a ton of good pitches.
It's funny because the Mets have had chances to score, but they've only had 3 hits. Just all the hits have been extra base hits. 2 of them were leadoff doubles. But they've been pretty quiet, actually, on the whole today. The 0-2. Fouled off of Alejandro Kirk's shin guard. Still 0-2.
That's such a good pitch. I can't believe Jose Siri actually made contact with that thing. It was a sinker that just rode in way off the plate inside. He was able to clip it with the end of that bat.
You mentioned it last time he faced him. You got to expand on Siri. Chasing almost 50% this year. The 0-2. Called strike 3, or just freeze him with a backdoor sinker. Bassitt has 3 strikeouts in a row, 8 on the day, 2 down.
Well, you mentioned early on in the ball game, his velocity isn't great. It's about 90 to 92 miles an hour. But when your fastball moves like that, I mean, it doesn't really matter the velocity. We see Marcus Stroman deal with 87, 88 miles an hour. Chris Bassitt dealing with that good sinker right now, too.
His pitch to Hayden Senger, good cutter, called strike. He is throwing frisbees right now. Pitches are moving wildly left and right. And the Mets are having a hard time squaring him up. The 0-1. Curveball cut on and missed. 0-2. Bassitt's got a chance here to strike out the side.
That might have been his best curveball of the night. 72 miles an hour.
.2 in the dirt. It's the first ball he's thrown all inning. He was flirting with kind of a immaculate inning-like performance here in the 5th. He struck out each of the first 2 guys on 4 pitches rather than 3. And now there is a fan on the field.
If there's one guy that's extremely irritated right now, it's Chris Bassitt.
Is he your As he continues, is he your betting odds leader in player to go out and assist the security, run across the field?
Look at his face right now. He's just like, what are we doing?
Welcome to New York. First of 3 trips for the Blue Jays to New York City this year. This is the only one against the Mets, 2 more against the New York Yankees.
I'll tell you this much, though. He is missing his spots with precision. Every time he misses his spot, it's a strike in a great location.
See a bit of a chuckle from Sean Manaea, Pete Alonso in the Met dugout. Not the same emotions being shared by Chris Bassitt, who, again, we were just saying, struck out the first guy on 4 pitches, struck out the second guy on 4 pitches, Beatty and Siri, and he's ahead 1-2 here on Singer. He was rolling. We'll see if he can quickly get back into that groove as he walks back up the hill. Maybe a strategic field invasion from those at Citi Field trying to stop Chris Bassitt.
It's kind of a lengthy stoppage here.
Bassitt blows into his right hand and now steps onto the rubber. 2 outs, base is empty. A breath. A long look in. And now into the wind. The 1-2. High with the cutter. 2 balls, 2 strikes. One nothing Blue Jays, bottom of the 5th inning. And I think there's a pitch comm issue now. So tally that up to 2 stoppages so far in the inning. Kirk came out from behind the plate, had to signal that to Emil Jimenez so that they wouldn't get a pitch clock violation, and it looks like everything's all right.
And you can see Chris Bassitt blowing into that hand. It's freezing out there right now.
8 degrees, windy, wet day in New York. The 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. He punched out this side. 2 swinging, 1 looking, and he keeps the Blue Jays in front with his 9th K of the day. 1-0 Toronto as we go to the 6th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
One of the best in the game at receiving the ball.
He's about as good of a strike zone controller as the Blue Jays have.
To a team of elite defenders, he is Captain Kirk, a game caller in unison with this pitcher.
Does he ever have a knowledge of the strike zone?
Framing pitches with precision and a steady hand.
Kirk's done it again.
Be one of the first 15,000 fans at the ballpark on Wednesday, April 30th to get your Alejandro Kirk bobble arm. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com. Lights up, let's go.
Mary, do you ever wonder why we fly north every year?
Obviously, it's because of Armstrong bird food.
I thought it was because of the weather or migration or something.
Oh, Steve, you need to spread those wings and open your eyes, partner. Truth is, it's the seeds, the nuts, the berries, the good stuff. Armstrong's got it all.
So all this time, you've been chasing snacks?
Bingo! You think I'd flap these wings thousands of miles for anything else?
Armstrong, Canada's premier bird food. The reason birds fly north. Find Armstrong at Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and other fine retailers. Or learn more at ArmstrongBirdFood.com.
Let's see some talent.
Tuesdays on City TV. The stage is set for incredible performances.
I think you're friggin' amazing.
The judges are looking for the next $1 million act.
You devastated the stage.
That will leave you speechless.
You make me laugh. You leave me in awe. That was amazing.
All new Canada's Got Talent. Tuesdays 8/7 Central on City TV. Or stream it on City TV Plus.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Green kicks and delivers. Swing and a miss. They defeat the Mariners
on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Blue Jays 1, Mets nothing as we go to the 6th inning. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Great pitching battle today between Chris Bassitt and a mix of Griffin Canning and Jose Butto. Bassitt just punched out the side. He struck out the last 4 he's faced. He has 9 Ks today, and we'll see Butto for a 2nd straight inning. He picked up all 3 outs in the 5th after Canning had allowed 2 runners to reach. Butto's pitch to Will Wagner, called strike, 0-1. Blue Jays did get one hit off Buto, though, the Vlad Guerrero Jr. RBI single, and that's why Toronto is up 1-0, the 0-1. Wagner fouls it back 0-2. Maybe not the team everyone remembers him with, but Will's dad, Billy Wagner, a couple really good years as the closer for the New York Mets. 0-2. Swing and a ground ball hooked to second base, picked up by Beatty, who throws to first for the out.
Oddly enough, that's the team that I remember Billy Wagner with.
I guess that overlaps a little bit close to you. He was really good for the Mets. Obviously, Houston for a long time, but he closed for the Mets 2006 to 2008, an all-star in 07 and 08, and part of that 06 team that went to the NLCS, almost went to the World Series, and that's, Renaissance Carlos Delgado hits 38 home runs for that team. First pitch to Miles Straw, called strike, 0-1.
That was a pretty cool time to be a Mets fan. That's the end of Shea Stadium as well.
Yeah, Shea, was it 07, 08?
Or was it somewhere around there?
Yeah, that it closes down. Now Citi Field, the 0-1. Called strike against Straw, 0-2. Let's go over the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Chris, I got an update from your Miami Marlins.
What do you got for me?
Give it to you in a sec. First, the 0-2. Outside, ball 1. Big day for Canadians, the Miami Marlins. Not only does Cal Quantrill go 5 scoreless innings, 4 hits, no walks, 4 strikeouts. But we have a Canadian rookie who picked up his first hit, the 1-2. Swing and a chopper over the mound. Charging in Lindor. Throws on the run, gets Straw. 2 outs. Liam Hicks catching today in his debut, I believe, in the major leagues. Pardon me, not his debut.
I think he made the team out of spring training.
Yeah, you know what? Not his first hit either, but still. 2 for 2 today is Hicks with a double and an RBI to help Miami to a 3-0 lead. His first double, his first RBI. Hicks from the Toronto area as Alan Roden steps in. 2 out, space is empty. First pitch, hit in the air to left field, slicing, and that'll get foul into the seats, 0-1. I actually played against him as a kid. He played for North Toronto.
I knew this story was going somewhere.
He's catching now. He was catching then. He was also pitching. I don't remember hitting against him, but I'd have to imagine it didn't go well considering he's in the big leagues. So congratulations to Liam Hicks having a nice day today. First double, first RBI.
Hey, you're both in the big leagues, Ben, all right?
No chance. The 0-1 pitch. Roden hits it well. Right center field. And that's going to get down on the base of the wall. Soto picks it up. Roden into second. He's got a double. He's been on all 3 times today.
Well, that's the way to do damage. You hammer something in a gap. A really good swing from Alan Roden. Just another good at-bat. Hits a little hanging breaking ball there. A little spinner from Buto, but what a swing.
He tagged that ball, picked a deep part of the yard. If he pulled it a little more, probably would go out. He hit that 106 miles an hour off the back into that 375, 380 range in right center field.
I'm surprised his helmet didn't fly off coming around first base.
He's got a better fit helmet than hat. Mound visit right now, so we can keep looking at the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Final that Florida beats Auburn, so the Gators are going to the national title, and in a matter of a couple minutes, there's a concert right now, I guess, at the Final Four, but after that, it will be Duke and Houston. John Schneider and Kelvin Sampson as the Final Four of 1 seeds continues.
Are you not a Jelly Roll fan?
You know what? The name was escaping my mind. I would say I'm more on the casual Jelly Roll admiring, but happy for him. 2 outs, runner on second. Bo Bichette up, 1-0 Blue Jays. Buto's pitch. Just outside. Looked pretty good, ball 1.
Big run standing out there at second base. 2 outs in this inning. Blue Jays up by just 1 run here in the top of the 6th inning.
Action in the Met bullpen. 31st pitch for Buto. Called strike. So the last pitch looked pretty good. It was a ball. That one actually further outside. but it was lower, and maybe that counts for something. So it's 1-1. And it probably should be 1-1, just with flipped calls.
You're being too nice.
The 1-1. Swing and a rope down the left field line. Fair ball rolling into the corner. Rodin jogging around third to the plate. Bassitt sprinting into second. He's got an extra base hit, an RBI double, and the Blue Jays are up 2-0.
Well, I can't believe Bo Bassitt kept that ball fair. It was a sinker on the inside part of the plate. He just pulled those hands through and got the barrel to it. He's so good at hitting balls like that and keeping them fair specifically. What a hit. Big RBI for him as well.
Third double of the year, fourth RBI for Bo Bassitt, and every run in this game feels so precious. That's a big one for the Blue Jays.
And just like that, 2 doubles. That's what the Blue Jays have been waiting for. They've been waiting for that slug. They've been waiting for the doubles in the gap. They've been waiting for the home runs. Back-to-back doubles will score you a run every single time.
And it'll also knock a pitcher out of a game. Jose Butto is done. Huáscar Brazoban about to come on. This pitching change is brought to you by Home Hardware. Cover all your project spaces with the Bring Beauty Tone Home Sale. Let's go over to today's host. Here's Show Ali.
Thanks very much, guys. Let's do a quick check of the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Let's start in the National Hockey League. It is Saturday night. Lots of hockey to get to, including a number of finals from earlier in the day. Earlier, the Kings blanking the Oilers 3-0 in the afternoon. Darcy Kemper making 27 saves for his 5th shutout of the season. With the win, LA closing within a point of the Pacific Division leading Golden Knights, obviously pending the outcome of tonight's Golden Knights Flames game, which goes in about an hour. Also puts them 4 points ahead of Edmonton themselves. In the Atlantic, 2 more teams jockeying for position as the Senators blanked the Panthers 3-0 in Ottawa. Anton Forsberg making 40 saves for his 3rd shutout of the season. The Panthers, meanwhile, had not been shut out since a 4-0 loss to the Habs on December 28th. Ottawa now moving 7 points ahead of Montreal in the race for the first wildcard spot. If the Sens do make the playoffs, it will be their first trip to the Stanley Cup playoffs since the 2016-2017 season. And Vancouver, the Canucks blowing out the Ducks 6-2. They scored 5 goals in the first period in the span of about 5 minutes. Though despite the win, Vancouver is sitting 6 points out of the second wildcard spot with 6 games to go. And just seconds ago, the Leafs going up 3-0 thanks to William Nylander. The third period underway on Sportsnet and the CBC. Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get back to the action. Here's Ben and Chris.
Thank you very much, Joe. Right-hander Huáscar Brazoban into the game. Blue Jays just doubled their lead to 2-0. And Bo Bassitt remains on second base after his RBI double with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. at the plate. Brazoban's pitch. Guerrero hits it off the handle, foul, 0-1. Fourth appearance of the season for Brazoban. 5 innings so far. Picked up a save in extra innings for the Mets. It's not given up a run yet. The 0-1. Swing and another one hit off the handle. A couple fastballs in tight on the hands of Guerrero. It's 0-2.
Pretty good year last year for Brazoban with Miami and New York. 1-3 with a 3.83 ERA, 39 games, 51 and 2/3 innings pitched.
Dealt from the Marlins to the Mets at the deadline. The 0-2 is lined to center. Coming in, Siri. He'll make the catch on the run and end the inning. The Blue Jays add, though, on back-to-back 2-out doubles by Rodin and Bassitt. It's 2-0 Toronto, middle of the 6th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Here's what's happening on Sirius XM Sports.
The NCAA Men's Final Four is on Sirius XM College Sports Radio. Tune in as Florida faces Auburn, followed by Duke battling Houston. Just the second time all 4 top seeds are in the Final Four. Play-by-play from San Antonio is followed by expert recap and reaction on Sirius XM Channel 84 and the Sirius XM app.
Sirius XM Sports. Wherever you are, your team plays here.
Hey, Jim Rome here. What's cracking?
Hi.
Hope you're enjoying the game. And when you're not taking in a game, find us on Sirius Channel 161, XM Channel 206. In fact, we'll be there every weekday afternoon, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. If you've got something you want to break down from this game, you know where to find us. Just make sure you have a take and don't suck.
Step your game up.
That has never changed. In fact, the show has never changed. We're just back home. And it's great to be there. Sirius 161, XM 206. See you there.
Let the games begin.
On Sirius XM, you get all the sports play-by-play you want and all the live sports talk you need. It's always a home game when you listen to the NFL, NHL, NBA, and MLB on the Sirius XM app.
How good is that?
We fuel your fandom with NASCAR, the biggest college games, PGA, and soccer. And when news breaks, hear instant reaction.
We got a big developing story out of Cincinnati.
The Sirius XM app. Everything a sports fan needs, all in one place.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM.
Blue Jays 2, Mets nothing. Bottom of the 6th inning at Citi Field. Toronto trying to even the series, and they're leading today mostly on the back of their starter. Chris Bassitt entering a 6th inning of work. 9 strikeouts, 3 hits, no runs. The pitch to Francisco Lindor. Called strike, dropped the splitter in there. Violent movement down. 0-1.
How about that thing? Looked exactly like the sinker. It was just about 8 miles an hour slower.
The 0-1. Breaking ball hit on the ground to second. Andres Jimenez has it. And he throws out Lindor. Those two exchanged in a big trade a couple years ago. Had a long talk with Bassitt about his splitter. And he told me that if you look at some of the advanced numbers, or if he threw in the lab with them, his splitter will get more depth than anyone else's on the team. And you have Kevin Gausman, Bowden Francis, Jeff Hoffman, Eric Swanson, obviously not with the team right now, but you have a lot of guys who throw effective splitters. Pitch to Juan Soto, called strike. So the reason sometimes you don't realize that is a lot of those guys are four-seam guys, so the difference between their splitter and four-seamer is big. He's a sinker baller.
Yeah, it's more obvious.
Right, so he needs more movement as he misses down and into Soto 1-1. Told me he was still getting comfortable with it in his last start, although he liked how it went. The 1-1. Hit on the ground to shortstop. Picked up by Bassitt. And he throws out Soto, who's 0 for 3 today. 2 outs.
Well, when you have a sinker moving like a split finger, why not just throw the sinker all day long? Right. He's really relied on that thing, locating it all over the strike zone, up, down, in, out. And then that slow breaking ball has really worked for him as well. He's looked very, very good. It's not the weather. It's his pitches. I'm telling you, just the eye test alone, it's the location and the command of that sinker and that curveball.
He's used both his sinker and his breaking ball to strike out Pete Alonso today. Alonso up for a third time. 2-0 Blue Jays. 2 outs, bases empty, bottom of the 6th. Bassitt with a breath into the wind, his 80th pitch of the start. Sinker for strike 1. Bit of unrest at Citi Field on a quiet offensive day for the Mets. The 0-1. Down and in. Sign in the stands that said 24. There's a bit of a counter right now, or a stat watch when you look at Pete Alonso. The 1-1. Check swing, breaking ball outside, 2-1. What I mean by that is Pete Alonso currently stands on 229 home runs. And of course, all of those in a New York Mets uniform. The 2-1 pitch. Down and away, 3-1. And if you look at the all-time list, he's 24 away from passing Darryl Strawberry for the most home runs in Mets history. He's in third right now. He's 13 behind David Wright. And he's 23 behind Darryl Strawberry. The 3-1. Sinker hit away foul. Bassitt challenged him with the bases empty, and it's a full count.
Yeah, you're up 2 runs in this ball game. Nobody's on. You have 2 outs. There's no reason to mess around right here. You have to challenge Pete Alonso. Let him either make good contact or hit something weakly on the ground, but I'm not walking Pete Alonso in this situation.
Payoff pitch. Sinker hit high to right field. Springer going toward the foul line, still on the run, makes the catch just before the sidewall and ends the inning. 6 shutouts so far from Chris Bassitt. He's cruising along, and we'll cruise into the 7th inning with the Blue Jays up 2-0. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Enter Night Mode.
It's a stylish Friday night in the city.
Every Friday home game.
No doubter.
Where we celebrate everything that makes our city one of a kind.
Anything that counts.
Would you always feel like part of the show? On Friday, April 18th, be at the ballpark early and get your Blue Jays City Connect Bomber Jacket giveaway presented by Enercare. The first 50,000 fans will be geared up for spring nights in the city. City Connect Fridays. Night Mode. Lights up. Let's go. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Here at Home Hardware's Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno Sale, everyone's saving on everything they need to tackle their reno project. Like bringing their living room into this century with 25% off Canadian-made Beauty Tone Pure Interior and Specialty Paint. Or tackling that bathroom reno with up to $200 off Max Shower Units. That's better. Earn and redeem Scene Plus points during the Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno Sale. On now at Home Hardware and Building Centers.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Jose Barrios with a trio of strikeouts to end a scoreless 6.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Top of the 7th inning. Welcome to the Timbermark broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Huascar Brazovan back on the mound for the New York Mets. 2-0 Blue Jays. Anthony Santander leading it off. The pitch. Low ball 1. Mets reliever features a sinker, 4-seamer cutter, and a changeup. The 1-0. Inside at 94. He'll go up as high as 97, 98. 2 balls, no strikes. Santander 0 for 2 today with a walk. He had a sharp line out in the 5th. Takes the next pitch in the dirt. 3-0.
He has the green light here, so if he sees something that he can handle, get the barrel to, he's swinging that bat.
The 3-0. Called strike. Frisbee sinker cut across the plate at 96 to make it 3-1.
Yeah, that's a good take. That's not the pitch that you want to do damage on. A pretty good sinker.
3-1. Swing and a line shot bounces up the middle of the infield and into center for a base hit. Went over the mound, skipped on the dirt, and rolled into the wet outfield grass. It's a leadoff single for Anthony Santander.
That's a pretty good swing right there. Didn't try to do too much with it. It was a sinker off the plate outside. He just gets the barrel to it and hammers it up the middle.
Yeah, he really had to reach out and poke that ball. Long arms, long bat helped out Anthony Santander. Now he's on first with Andres Jimenez up 1 for 2 today with a walk. The pitch. Called strike. Probably won't last forever, but still OPSing over 1 right now is Andres Jimenez. Has the majority of the team's home runs with 3 out of the 5. 0-1 inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. His hit today, just the 2nd in his career in 25 at-bats against the New York Mets, the team he debuted with. He homered last year for his first hit against the Mets. Swings at the 1-1 and pops it up. behind third in foul territory, and that one's going to get into the seats after a long run from Vientos. 1-2. Santander on first, nobody out. 2-0 Blue Jays, top of the 7th. Right on left pitch. Swing and a high fly ball right field. Soto back at the warning track, makes the catch off to his right on the run. Santander will jog back to first, 1 out.
Good swing right there from Andres Jimenez. Juan Soto going back and catching that thing about 10 feet from that right center fence. Pretty good swing on a tough changeup.
And maybe just got jammed a little bit. So there's 1 out, and Alejandro Kirk's up to the plate. 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts. The pitch. Way up and in. Look out. It didn't hit Kirk in the head, but it got awfully close. 1-0.
Yeah, that's not where Brazaban wanted that fastball. You could hear him actually make a sound as that baseball was traveling through the strike zone and up near Alejandro Kirk's chin. Definitely didn't want that.
He throws so hard and he gets so much run. Kirk didn't really have time to get out of the way. He was just lucky that it didn't hit him. The 1-0. Swing and a ground ball to third base. Fielded Vientos. Throws to second one. Over to first. Not in time. Alonso had to stretch and pick it, but the indication was not that he was off the bag, but rather that he just didn't get there in time. Mets are definitely going to take a look.
Yeah, Pete Alonso caught that baseball, saw the safe call, and immediately looked into the Mets dugout.
The New York Mets are challenging the safe call at first base.
The interesting thing is, unless I missed it, I didn't see Eddings wipe to the side like he was saying that the first baseman was off the bag. And I think he's definitely out. He definitely wasn't off the bag.
Doug Eddings might have just thought that Alejandro Kirk beat that out.
I mean, very close.
No, it's an obvious out call. But I think that Doug Eddings just got that call wrong.
Kirk's foot is on the way down. Bang, bang in real time, but on slow motion replay, you can see it in Kirk already walking back to the dugout. So everyone thinks it's academic.
The call is overturned. The runner's out. New York retains its challenge.
So that's an inning ending 5-4-3 double play. No runs on a hit for the Blue Jays. 7th inning stretch in the Big Apple. 2-0 Toronto over the New York Mets. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Timber Mart. Locally owned, proudly Canadian. Your home team advantage with the right materials and the right price. Project know-how that's brought together a wealth of plans and solid advice. Trust your team at your locally owned Timber Mart. Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Centre. Visit timbermart.ca.
Sportsnet Plus is the streaming home of the Blue Jays.
Oh, what a catch!
Stream over 150 Blue Jays games all season long.
You won't see this anywhere else.
Including pre- and post-game coverage with Jamie and Joe on Blue Jays Central.
One of the best in the game right here.
Watch all the Blue Jays action wherever you are, at home or on the go.
Don't you love baseball?
Plans start from $24.99 a month.
We are good to go.
Subscribe at sportsnetplus.ca. This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Out of here! Out of here! Davis Snyder wins it!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom 7, 2-0 Blue Jays, and guess who? Chris Bassitt back out on the mound for Toronto. The right-hander has been spectacular today for the Blue Jays. 3 hits, no runs, no walks, 9 strikeouts. He tries to guide the Blue Jays now to the 8th inning and maintain the 2-0 lead.
Yeah, and he's at 85 pitches right now through 106 in his last start. Let's hope he can finish this inning.
I thought you were about to say, so maybe he's got 8 in him.
No.
Faces the middle of the Met order now. Pitch to Brandon Nimmo. Hit on the ground to second base, picked up by Jimenez. Throw to first in time, 1 pitch, 1 out.
I mean, if he continues to get 1 pitch, 1 out, he'll probably go back out for the 8th. But I think this is his last hitter or his last inning.
No, I think you're right as well, especially the leverage arms in the Blue Jays pen have not gone 2 days in a row now because of the off day, and then they had Little, Yariel, and Jacob Barnes go last time. Pitch to Jesse Winker from Bassitt, misses 1-0, and as we speak, Jimmy Garcia loosening up for the Blue Jays. Winker's been the one guy who's really gotten to Bassitt today. 2 for 2, a double and a triple. Triple was a liner that skipped past George Springer and right. 1-0 pitch is hit high in the air, shallow right field. Andres Jimenez, the second baseman, way out there, runs out of room. It goes foul into the seats. 1-1.
And as you were saying that, I was thinking there has to be something to that, and all of a sudden Jesse Winker put a great swing on that hanging breaking ball, just got underneath it. He's obviously seeing him very well tonight. A couple of doubles, probably a triple and a double, and then that sky-high pop-up there.
Winker was 2 for 4 off Bassitt coming into this game. The 1-1, down and in, ball 2. They saw each other last year in September when the Mets came to Toronto, and he went 1 for 2 off of him, and then he went 1 for 2 off of him when Bassitt was a Met and Winker was a Mariner in 2022. The 2-1. Swing and a ground ball left side of the infield. Bichette charging, throws on the run to first in time. 2 outs.
Good job by Bo Bichette. You can see the water spraying off that ball as it was slowly rolling through the infield. Didn't make a perfect throw, but he got it over there in time.
He also had to deal with Will Wagner coming from third, thinking about cutting off that ball, just getting in the eye line a bit before curling away and leaving it for Bichette.
Bassitt now at 90 pitches. Who knows? He might go out for the 8th.
I was mostly joking. But you never know. Number 6 hitter Mark Vientos up. 2 outs, bases empty, the pitch. Low ball 1. Either way, this might be one of the best starts that Chris Bassitt has had in a Blue Jay uniform. The 1-0. Swing and a liner past Bichette into left field. A base hit. First knock for the Mets since the 4th inning. Vientos has his 3rd hit of the year.
Yeah, Mark Vientos absolutely hammered that split finger. It was a hanging split finger about belt high at the top of the strike zone, and he ripped that thing over a leaping Bo Bichette. Bo Bichette at shortstop.
Now it's decision time if you're in that Blue Jays dugout. You're John Schneider. Do you want to leave Bassitt in with the tying run at the plate? Or do you want to go to Jimmy Garcia to put out the fire? His choice is going to be Jimmy Garcia. High fives and handshakes for Bassitt. Schneider with a fist bump takes the baseball and pats him on the shoulder. And it'll be a pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware. Cover all your project spaces with the Bring Beauty Tone home sale. Quickly, let's go over to the Bet 365 standings update. At Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only, with some finals already in the AL East today. The Yankees 6-2, Blue Jays in second at 5-3. The Rays are 4-3, Boston 4-4, and Baltimore 4-5. As Jimmy Garcia loosens up, let's go over to today's host, Show Ali.
Thanks very much, Ben. Let's check out the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. We'll check in the National Hockey League as a lot of these Saturday night games are beginning to wrap up. We'll start in Toronto, where the Leafs are enjoying a 4-0 advantage on the Columbus Blue Jackets down at Scotiabank Arena. There's about 6 minutes to go in the third period. You can watch the remainder of the game on Sportsnet and the CBC after the game on Sportsnet Plus and on Sportsnet's YouTube page. They'll have Leafs talk with Sam McKee and Brent Gunning. Gunning pinch hitting for JD Bunkus tonight. Other games going on right now. The Habs lead the Flyers 3-1 with 6:51 to go in the third. The Blues are on top of the Avs 4-2 with 6:16 to go in the third. 4.5 minutes remain for the Lightning and Sabres in Buffalo. This game is tied at 2. The Jets are trailing Utah 3-1 with about 11 minutes to go in the third. The Bruins are currently leading the Hurricanes 5-0 with 4.5 to go in the third as well. The late game will be Golden Knights at Flames in Calgary. Puck drop just after 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific. Watch it on Sportsnet. Listen to it on Sportsnet 960 The Fan in Calgary. Flames Talk postgame will follow. Blue Jays baseball, as always, brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the action. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. The Blue Jays fireman is out of the bullpen and into the game. Jimmy Garcia on with the tying run coming to the plate. It's 2-0 Blue Jays, 2 outs, bottom of the 7th. Mark Vientos on first, and Brett Beatty, left-handed hitting second baseman, scheduled to hit for New York. 5th appearance of the season for Jimmy Garcia. 4 scoreless innings in his previous 4. He's given up 1 hit, no walks, and 5 strikeouts. Also has 1 save for Toronto this year. A wide array of pitches, a mid to high 90s fastball for the righty Garcia, who peaks at first, kicks and deals. First pitch, swing and a miss, 0-1. You have 98, but you start him off with your curveball, and he got Beatty way out in front.
Yeah, I like that. You don't want to start a guy off with a fastball right down the middle. It seems like Brett Beatty was trying to jump him there, was way out in front of that slider.
The 0-1. Another breaking ball. That one fouled off. 0-2.
You have to expand here. No more breaking balls in the middle of the plate. Fastball above the strike zone or a breaking ball below the strike zone. It's pretty simple.
He's got the 2 heaters. Also throws a changeup sometimes to a left-handed hitter. Could be a factor here. We'll get some extra time to think. Beatty asked for time, and now the left-handed hitter taking a half practice swing. Looks out to Jimmy Garcia.
Beard's getting long.
It is. It's cold. You need it. 0-2, 2 outs, runner on first, bottom of the 7th. Blue Jays up 2-0. Long look in from Garcia, and the 0-2. Fastball line to right field, down for a base hit, dying in the wet grass. Around second, Vientos to third. Throw goes back into second from George Springer, and the tying run on base now for the Mets after Brett Beatty's single. It's first and third.
And I know that Jimmy Garcia and Alejandro Kirk were trying to throw that fastball above the strike zone, but that's too good of a pitch on the inner third, about thigh high. Brett Beatty is just looking to swing the bat there. He's able to get the barrel to it. Now the Mets have runners on first and third and still 2 outs in this inning, but you have to expand in that situation.
You have to expand here against Jose Siri, who's 0 for 2 with a foul pop fly and a strikeout. First pitch heater, down and away, ball 1. We saw Bassitt's velocity down. That last fastball from Garcia and the one before that, both 94 miles an hour.
Well, you have to remember that Jimmy Garcia has been sitting down in that bullpen for 3 hours.
And it's been cold. The 1-0. Just below the knees again, 2-0.
You have to ask yourself here, do I challenge him? Do I throw something off speed? You definitely don't want him to run into one here.
2-0 Blue Jays, first and third, 2 outs, bottom 7. The pitch to Siri. Inside, ball 3, and in serious danger here of walking the bases loaded. Garcia kicks and deals. Ball 4. That one looked pretty good at the top of the zone, but he's been scattering. Garcia laughing at Emil Jimenez. Bases are loaded now with 2 outs.
Yeah, I don't think he wanted to walk Jose Siri in that situation, but I would much rather face, well, he's not going to face Hayden Singer. He's going to face Starling Marte. That's a taller task for sure.
Interesting here because Luis Torrens was scratched from the lineup today with a right arm contusion, we think connected to a ball he took off the arm yesterday. But if Singer is going to come out for a pinch hitter, clearly Torrens is at least okay enough to go in and play defensively because they're removing their catcher from Marte. We talked about it a little bit after the change. I think you could have gone either way with the Chris Bassitt decision for Jimmy Garcia. Jimmy's been so good for you. Bassitt was approaching 100 pitches. They decided to take him out with a runner on first and 2 outs. But it has not gone well for Jimmy Garcia since coming in. A single and a walk, and the bases are loaded. Go-ahead run on first with 2 outs and Starling Marte at the plate.
Well, I think if you're going to take Chris Bassitt out, it all depends on who you bring in. If you're bringing in your 8th inning guy and Jimmy Garcia, I think it's a good decision.
First pitch, called strike. Sharp breaking ball at 87 to make it 0-1.
It's a good pitch. Got to throw strike one in that situation.
Marte pinch hitting, playing in his 1,437th game. The 0-1. Foul tip, strike 2.
It's so tough to hit that backup slider. You expect that thing to break so much more than it does, and it kind of just ties you up.
These two former teammates. Garcia was the closer with the 21 Marlins. Marte was there. They both got traded at the deadline. And the Blue Jays bench coach, Don Mattingly, was the manager at that time. Garcia's 0-2 to Marte. Hit on the ground weakly and picked up by Garcia, the pitcher. He'll race to the bag himself for the out to end the inning. He played with a little fire, but Jimmy Garcia shuts it down and keeps the Mets off the board through 7. No runs on 2 hits. Bases loaded left as the 7th comes to a close. We go to the 8th, 2-0 Blue Jays. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on SiriusXM. We're back on the track Sunday,
2 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Goodyear 400 from Darlington Raceway on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 in the car and on the SiriusXM app. For up-to-date betting lines, fantasy plays, and the latest NASCAR news, catch the pre-race show before every Cup Series race. Plus, 2 hours of post-race coverage on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on SiriusXM Channel 89 and every morning on the SiriusXM app.
VSiN, the sports betting network, is back on SiriusXM. Go to channel 158 for informed wagering and fantasy advice from familiar voices like Gil Alexander, Paulie Howard, and Mitch Moss. Plus, SiriusXM mainstays Adam Shine, Rich Gannon, and the guru, John Hansen. We're getting you ready for the upcoming games with a finger on the pulse of the latest news and the moving lines and odds. VSiN, the sports betting network, is now on SiriusXM 158 and on the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win whichever fantasy sport you play. Right now on Channel 87 and always on the SiriusXM app.
At Radio Network.
George Springer leading off for the Blue Jays. Top of the 8th inning. He takes strike 1 from Huáscar Brazoban. As we get back underway at Citi Field. Luis Torrens now in behind the plate for the Mets. After Starling Marte came in as a pinch hitter last inning. Next pitch to Springer. Check swing. Appeal down to first. He did go. It's 0-2.
George Springer's 0 for 3 tonight, but still hitting .393 on the season.
He's been on the wrong side of 3 calls in this game. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. I think he was swinging no matter what in this at-bat. Not letting Emil Jimenez decide it. He goes down, though, and there's 1 out.
That was a tough changeup from Brazoban. A pretty good arm speed. It looked exactly like a fastball and just hit the brakes.
Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth, by the way. I'm Ben Schulman. He's Chris LaRue. 2-0 Blue Jays in a pitcher's duel at Citi Field. And Will Wagner up to the plate with 1 out. The pitch. Fastball outside, ball 1. Wagner DH yesterday at third today, 0 for 2 with a walk. The 1-0. Called strike in the expanding zone. It's 1-1.
Hey, man, you have the benefit of the strike box.
It is a very hard job. It is a very hard job. And it's cold. I'd want to go home, too. 1-1. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
It's really tough to see that good changeup from Brazoban and then have the hard four-seam fastball that stays true on the inside part.
Lanky right-hander kicks and deals and misses down and in. 2-2. Righty picked up his first save for the Mets on April 2nd at Miami. 2-2 pitch is sliced foul. Long run for Vientos. It'll get down before he can get into foul territory. They asked a lot for him, did the Mets, in picking up his first career save. He came on with the Mets up 1, but 2 runners on base and only 1 out, and he managed to get through it. 2-2 again. Chops foul right side. Originally a Rockies international signing out of the Dominican Republic. Rockies never promoted him before he got to minor league free agency. Played a little indie ball. Came back with the Marlins. 2-2. Swinging a hot shot grounder. Diving stop backhand side. Alonso throws from a knee for the out. 2 down. Pete Alonso's been talking about improving his defense coming into this year. We've seen it a little bit so far in the series.
Yeah, he's made a couple of nice plays tonight on errant throws from infielders, and that one there, what a scoop. Diving to his right, making the throw to Brazaban at first base for the out. A big out here in this ball game.
Not only did he dive, but he pushed his glove forward like he was making a pick at first base. And Carlos Mendoza had said it's the left to right lateral stuff that they really were looking for him to improve upon. Looks like he's done some work because he went to his right pretty well there. 2 outs, space is empty. Miles Straw up, 1 for 3 today. Swing and a ball lifted to shallow right center. Beatty, the second baseman, caught up by Soto, the right fielder. 2-handed catch. That's it for the inning. Blue Jays go down 1-2-3, middle of the 8th. It's 2-0 Toronto. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Here at Home Hardware's Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno Sale, everyone's saving on everything they need to tackle their reno project. Like bringing their living room into this century with 25% off Canadian-made Beauty Tone Pure Interior and Specialty Paint. Or tackling that bathroom reno with up to $200 off Max shower units. That's better. Earn and redeem Scene Plus points during the Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno Sale. On now at Home Hardware and Building Centers.
One of the best in the game at receiving the ball.
I mean, he's about as good of a strike zone controller as the Blue Jays have.
To a team of elite defenders, he is Captain Kirk, a game caller in unison with this pitcher.
Does he ever have a knowledge of the strike zone?
Framing pitches with precision and a steady hand.
Kirk's done it again.
Be one of the first 15,000 fans at the ballpark on Wednesday, April 30th to get your Alejandro Kirk bobble arm. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com. Lights up, let's go.
Law & Order Thursday on City TV.
We're charging him with manslaughter.
3 Law & Orders on one epic night.
It was premeditated. It was planned.
Law & Order at 8.
He told me to is not a legal defense against murder.
SVU at 9.
Covering his ass, I'd start thinking about your own.
Followed by the new season of Law & Order Toronto Criminal Intent at 10.
Nothing justifies murder. How about we start with the truth?
Law & Order Thursday, all new, 8/7 Central on City TV.
Mami, tú solo escribes. Hola, soy Andrés Jiménez y estás escuchando el béisbol de los Toronto Blue Jays en la cadena de Radio Sportnet. Mami, tú solo escribes.
Bottom of the 8th inning and a pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware. Cover all your project spaces with the Bring Beauty Tone Home Sale. Brendan Little enters the ball game for the Blue Jays. 2-0 Toronto. Bottom of the 8th. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. With a switch hitter, a left-handed hitter, and then a right-handed hitter up, you could have gone a couple different ways. Blue Jays prioritizing turning around Lindor to bat right-handed and getting a left-on-left matchup with Juan Soto. Another substitute for Toronto, by the way, at third base, Gold Glove finalist Ernie Clement comes in. Will Wagner out of the game. He was 0 for 3 today with a walk. So Lindor batting from the right side now. Little, the lefty, kicks and deals, misses down and in, ball 1.
Another high leverage spot for Brendan Little. Up 2 in the bottom of the 8th inning. A pretty Pretty big deal for him.
The 1-0. Downstairs 2-0.
And again, the biggest thing for him is to come into a ball game like this and just throw strike one with that fastball. His fastball is so good, all you have to do is throw strikes at the bottom of the strike zone, and you'll get guys out.
Southpaw kicks and deals. Ball 3, miss low again. Interesting here, too. They turn Lindor around to the right. That's actually the side that he's hit better in his career. It's not a huge difference, but there is some thought to just switching around a hitter in the middle of the game, trying to mess them up. 3-0. Ball 4. Doesn't matter much if you don't throw him a strike. That's a leadoff walk. And now Juan Soto comes up representing the tying run.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to do that. I think I've said this enough this season and last season. When you're a reliever, you come into a ball game, you have to throw strikes, something Brendan Littlewith actually did struggle with a little bit last year.
Thought there was a chance they'd stick with Jimmy Garcia, although the stuff did not look typical. Velocity, movement a little down for Jimmy, who just escaped that 7th. First pitch to Soto is low, ball 1. 5 straight out of the zone for Brendan Little to start the appearance. The 1-0. Bounced it 2-0.
And again, I mentioned this is a big deal for Brendan Little. You're facing Francisco Lindor, Juan Soto, and you see Pete Alonso standing in that on-deck circle. That heart has to be racing right now for Brendan Little. You have to slow it down as Pete Walker is going to come out and give him a little bit of a breather. You have to step off the mound. You have to slow down, and you have to throw strikes here. This is a huge pitch coming up.
Pete Walker talking with Brendan Little. Nick Sandlin is loosening up for the Blue Jays, but Little will have to face Soto, will have to face Alonso no matter what. And you can see how, or hear how Citi Field is reacting to the walk and the chance that Soto could flip this game.
And I'm sure Brendan Little hears all of this.
Technically his 3rd major league season, but really his 2nd after breaking through last year. Had only 1 appearance before 2024 in the big leagues. He's now taken on the role of the lead lefty in the Blue Jay pen. And they're asking him to get it out here in a big spot. Lindor on first. Soto at the plate. 2-0 Toronto. And the 2-0. Called strike, 2-1. Got a bit of a favor from Emil Jimenez, but he'll take it.
Juan Soto was actually jumping around, yelling no, and now he's having a quick conversation with Emil Jimenez. I mean, it's not a strike, but it's not a horrible pitch either.
The 2-1. Called strike again. That one right at the knees, 2-2.
Oh, boy. Emil Jimenez is going to watch this game back and not be very happy with himself.
Those two weren't the worst, but they did appear about half an inch out of the zone.
You should ask Juan Soto how he feels about those two pitches.
I know how he feels. He's made that clear. 2-2. Swing and a liner through the middle of the infield and into center, a base hit. Quickly getting to it is Straw. That'll limit Lindor to just 2nd. It's the first hit of the day for Soto. And the Mets have 1st and 2nd here. Nobody out.
That wasn't a terrible pitch from Brendan Little. But Juan Soto knows you're trying to find the strike zone. He knows that you don't want to throw something out of the strike zone with Pete Alonso standing in that on-deck circle. So he's ready for that fastball. He's ready for that middle in sinker, and he got it. Luckily for Brendan Little, he got jammed a little bit.
He delivered it to an okay spot, but Little's only thrown the sinker so far, probably because he's still trying to find command of the pitch. We haven't seen the cutter. We haven't seen the knuckle curve. Pete Alonso is up, representing the go-ahead run. The pitch. Called strike. 3 home runs in the last 4 games for Pete Alonso. All of them have been big. He's flipped games. He's given the Mets early leads. He's probably, maybe certainly, been their best hitter so far. The 0-1. Went around on a knuckle curve in the dirt. Finally brought out the big breaker. 0-2.
Throw that again. Don't mess around. There's a big out here.
Could see Alonso trying to hold up, but could not. Little dangling the left arm as he looks in, now sets at the belt. First and second, nobody out. The 0-2. Outside with the curve.
They tried to throw that thing again. Brendan Little doesn't like that baseball, telling Alejandro Kirk to throw it out. But you can see Alejandro Kirk set up inside. They wanted to bounce that thing again.
Alonso 0 for 3 today, 2 strikeouts. Kirk setting up inside. And a step off from Little. Lindor was doing a lot of dancing at second base. Little's going to go to the rosin bag behind the mound. Look out to center field for a moment.
Good job by Brendan Little. Just take a breather. You feel that heart pounding through your jersey. You just step off, take a breather.
Now the 1-2. Spiked the curve, blocked off the chest by Kirk, but that one never got to the plate. 2-2.
He's really trying to make that perfect pitch. You can tell he really choked that ball. And what I mean by that, he was squeezing it, trying to make the perfect pitch, and he bounced that thing well in front of home plate.
Blue Jays 2, Mets nothing. First and second, no outs, bottom of the 8th. The 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Maybe his best pitch so far, a knuckle curve at the back foot, and Alonso's down for the first out.
Well, that's the pitch he wanted 3 pitches before. A perfect knuckle curveball from Brendan Little. Finally finds it. You can see him give a little fist pump. That's a huge out.
Nick Sandlin still up for the Blue Jays, but with Little finding it, perhaps getting a little more leash here. Also, back-to-back left-handed hitters due up for the Mets. It's Brandon Nimmo up now. He's trying to break it 0 for 3. The pitch. Low ball 1. Still hasn't quite figured out the sinker. The cutter and curveball were better pitches for him against Alonso. So walk to Lindor, a single to Soto, and a strikeout of Alonso. First and second, 1 out. Little kicks and deals. Swing and a fly ball center field. Straw racing back, gets to it to make the over-the-shoulder catch. Lindor will tag from second, advance to third, throw back into second, and there are 2 outs with runners on the corners.
Good job from Brendan Little. Just throw that strike. Now you have 2 outs in the inning. You're not worried about Francisco Lindor. I don't know if he's going to stay in this ballgame or not, but Francisco Lindor, no doubt, would be dancing around at third base, trying to mess with you. Don't worry about him. Worry about the guy standing at first base.
Double action in the Met bullpen. Edwin Diaz, the closer. Ryan Stanek also getting loose. It's probably Diaz if they take the lead, Stanek if they don't. Jesse Winker is going to hit right now for the New York Mets. Left on left matchup. First and third for the Mets. 2 outs, bottom of the 8th. Little's pitch. Fouled off of Kirk, 0-1. Winker typically a platoon guy. 788 on base plus slugging against right-handed pitching last year. 674 against left-handed pitching. That's a very solid, if not very good, regular player against righties to a replacement or below that level player against lefties. They do have Luis Angel Acuna and Tyrone Taylor on the bench, but Winker by far the most proven hitter, and he is 2 for 3. The 0-1. Swing and a miss on a breaking ball in the dirt. Or no, it wasn't. Pardon me. Appeal down to third. They said no swing. I thought that was enough. They'd call it at the plate. And they got a better view than I do. 1-1.
We'll see that slow motion replay. I'll let you know right now. He went around. That's a tough call for Brendan Little standing out on that mound. It's a good pitch, too.
So 1 ball and 1 strike. Lindor on third. Soto chatting with Guerrero at first base.
Pete Walker and John Schneider were actually yelling at Gabe Morales at third base after he made that call. They agreed with me.
Yeah, they've had a lot of interaction with Gabe Morales tonight, with Emil Jimenez tonight. But Gabe Morales on that instance because of the no swing on the appeal. Now a bit of a stoppage. Seemed to be an issue with the strap or one of the straps on Kirk's helmet. But he's got the hockey goalie style mask back on into the crouch. First and third, 2 down. 2-0 Blue Jays, bottom of the 8th. And the 1-1 to Winker. Swing and a miss. Definitely went around that time on the curve. 1-2.
Stay right there. Don't mess around. Let Alejandro Kirk block the baseball, and you get out of this inning.
Little's grinded in this inning. His 20th pitch. Hit high, deep right field. Springer back, and it's off the fence. Springer tumbling onto the warning track. Into score Lindor. Coming right behind him is Soto, and Winker has tied it up on his second triple of the day. Springer still down on a knee on the warning track. That one went off the top of the wall. Looked like Springer was in between trying to catch it and playing it off the fence. And by the time he went for it, he was really out of sorts, slammed into the fence. And the Mets get 2 runs to tie it up.
Yeah, that's a tough one right there. The pitch selection was the right selection. It was just the location. It was a knuckle curve right down the middle. Jesse Winker it looked like he was just waiting on that pitch. If the location was a little better, he probably would have swung through it. But that thing was right down Broadway, and he hammered that baseball off the wall in right field.
Jose Ministral, Blue Jays head athletic trainer, out into right field to check on George Springer, who just was not in time to get that ball.
Jesse Winker thought he got that one off the bat. Stood in the box and watched it for a second.
He nearly didn't. He got enough of it to tie this game after 7 2/3 scoreless from Blue Jays pitching. Brendan Little surrenders 2 on the double, the triple. Winker on third and a pitching change, brought to you by Home Hardware. Cover all your project spaces with the Bring Beauty Tone home sale. 2-2 game. Go-ahead run for the Mets on third. Pitching change for the Blue Jays. Let's go to today's host, Show Ali.
Thank you very much, Ben. Let's continue checking the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Only 2 more games coming after a busy Saturday night. We have in about 20 minutes, Golden Knights Flames starting. Puck drop just after 10 Eastern. Dustin Wolf confirmed as the starter for the Calgary Flames. You can listen to that game on Sportsnet 960 The Fan in Calgary. Flames Talk postgame will follow. You can, of course, watch the game on Sportsnet and the CBC. We'll also have at the same time Kraken at Sharks, also going at the same time again in about 15-20 minutes. A lot of finals, including the Toronto Maple Leafs thumping the Blue Jackets 5-0. The final score. You can tune in right now if you like on Sportsnet Plus or on Sportsnet's YouTube page to Leafs Talk with McKee and Gunning. Again, Sportsnet Plus and on YouTube. The Leafs at 98 points after the win over the Jackets. Lots of finals in the books as well. It took a shootout, but the Sabres beating the Lightning 3-2 in Buffalo. The Habs beat the Flyers 3-2 as well. The Blues make it a number of wins in a row, 12 in a row for the Blues after a 5-4 win over the Avalanche. Utah beating Winnipeg 4-1. The Bruins beating the Hurricanes 5-1, and a bunch of games from earlier in the afternoon. The Panthers get blanked by the Sens 3-0. The Ducks getting blown out by the Canucks 6-2 in Vancouver, and in Los Angeles, the Oilers also getting blanked by the Kings 3-0. The final score there. Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the action. Here's Ben and Chris.
Thank you very much, Joe. A pitching change for the Blue Jays. Nick Sandlin on, and another substitution as well. After slamming into the wall, George Springer gingerly walking down into the clubhouse with Jose Ministral, the head athletic trainer. Nathan Lucas will take over for Springer in right field. Hopefully everything all right for George, who went back on that triple from Jesse Winker and was going all out for it. Slammed into the fence, and it's a chain link fence with little padding around it out in right field. So Springer out of the game, Lucas in, and the Blue Jays trying to keep it now at 2-2 after the game-tying triple from Winker. Sandlin going to go up against Mark Vientos here and trying to give the Blue Jays a tie score headed to the 9th. No runs allowed for Nick Sandlin in 3 previous appearances. Side-arming righty comes set at his chest. Hunched over, looking in at Kirk. He kicks and deals. First pitch slider outside, ball 1. Smooth sailing for the Blue Jays through 6 2/3 with Chris Bassitt. Handoff to the bullpen is not gone as well. 1-0. Called strike. Slider down the middle. Righties 1-1. Swing and a miss. Another slider. 3 straight. It's 1-2.
Nice slider right there. That little frisbee slider that Sandlin throws so well to righties. Looks like a fastball and then just takes a quick left turn.
Vientos will ask for time just as Sandlin was setting up, so he'll walk to the back of the mound, Nick Sandlin. Jesse Winker on third. He's been the Mets offense today. 3 hits, 2 triples, and a double. The 1-2. Just outside with the slider. Impressive take from a young hitter in Vientos. A base hit would give the Mets the lead. 2-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Got him on the splitter. Job well done from Sandlin, who ends the inning and keeps the go-ahead run at third base. Mets get 2, though, on the Winker triple. Springer out of the game after crashing into the wall. It's 2-2 as we head to the 9th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Explore a world of groundbreaking independent music and emerging artists on a channel where pioneers like Pavement, The Strokes, and Beach House play alongside the artists shaping the sound of this moment. Find independent music curated for the curious on SiriusXMU. Channel 35 and outside the car with the SiriusXM app.
Baseball is back. It's former General Manager Jim Duquette, and every Sunday on the front office, we have you covered on everything happening across Major League Baseball.
That's right, Duke. It's former Big League GM Jim Bowden. Injuries, extensions, promotions, demotions, and trades. We'll have you covered on all the news.
We'll bring you the front office perspective as the season heats up.
Front Office with Jim Duquette and Jim Bowden, Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Out of here! Yohei Ohtani Connect.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to daily fantasy basketball to getting you ready for the NFL Draft, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
We begin our quest for another championship right now. Winning is everything. It's it. It's all there is.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
After the game, join us on MLB Network Radio. We're talking baseball with you all season long on SiriusXM Channel 89 and the SiriusXM app.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership or the Sportsnet Radio Network. Tie game, top of the 9th inning, 2-2 between the Blue Jays and the Mets, and after New York tied it up, you know the sound of those trumpets just a couple years ago, as viral as anything. It's Mets closer Edwin Diaz into the game. Pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware. Cover all your project spaces with the Bring Beauty Tone home sale. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Tough matchup for the rookie Alan Rodin. First pitch from Diaz outside at 95, 1-0.
Didn't really have a lights-out season last year, but still pretty solid. 6-4 with a 3.52 ERA, 53 innings and some change, 20 saves.
1-0. Popped back foul out of play, 1-1. He's not quite the 100 that he was pre-injury, but he's still mid to high 90s. And really the great pitch for him is the slider. 1-1 slider, swing and a miss by Rodin, 1-2.
Such tight spin on that slider. You can't pick it up. That's probably the most effective part about it.
Rodin asks for time. Last 2 years have been tough for Edwin Diaz. He injured his knee in that WBC game, missed 2023, and then spent some time on the injured list last year with a right shoulder impingement. Got a sticky stuff suspension too. His 1-2 heater called strike 3. Certainly inside off the plate, but it's that kind of day. 1 out.
He's still got good stuff. 98, 88 with the slider. If he locates his pitches, he's going to have another one of those lights out season. That's for sure.
There was some concern the stuff was even more, a little bit down in spring training. He has wiped away that concern in his first couple outings at least. 2 scoreless innings coming into today. 1 hit, 2 strikeouts, and 1 save. First pitch to Bo Bichette misses in, ball 1. 2-2 game. 1 out, bases empty, top of the 9th. Bichette's 2 for 4. The 1-0. Bounced it, 2 balls, no strikes. Blue Jays might match up closer for closer. Jeff Hoffman's getting loose. Next pitch to Bichette, swing and a miss. Chased a 2-0 fastball inside, 2-1. The 2-1. Swing and a liner headed to right field. Base hit. Blue Jays have a base runner in the 9th inning. Bo Bichette with 3 hits today, and he's got a 1-out single.
Just another inside-out swing on a 4-seam fastball inside, almost on the black, and Bo Bichette just hammers that thing to right field. A lot of the time it doesn't look like he means to do that, but he certainly means to do that.
He does it too much to do it by accident. Now for the 3rd time ever, Edwin Diaz will face Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Vlad's 0 for 1 with a walk against Diaz. The pitch. Down and in, ball 1. Go ahead run on first base in Bichette. Guerrero is 1 for 4 today with an RBI single. Turn and fake throw over to first. Diaz just resetting the clock.
This is one of those situations where a single won't do it. You have to get something in a gap. You have to get something down a line.
Turn and throw over to first this time, and Bichette back in. That's both disengagements used by Diaz. Not sure the Blue Jays would risk it here, but something for Toronto to keep in its back pocket.
And the reason I say that is because it's really hard to string together multiple hits against Edwin Diaz.
With 1-0, inside 2-0.
So you need that big hit, that double in the gap, that homer, that double down the line to score that guy from first base.
Broken bat roller back to the mound, off the glove of Diaz, and everyone's safe. Guerrero up to second, or pardon me, Guerrero at first, Bichette up to second. Diaz fell off to the left, working back to the right, and just didn't get down low enough to field that one.
Yeah, that's a tough break for the New York Mets. Francisco Lindor would have made that play pretty easily with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. running down the line, but unfortunately Edwin Diaz clipped that thing with his glove, and now the Blue Jays are cooking.
They give Guerrero a hit on the play. It's a tough one for Diaz, probably tougher than it looked. Well, the Blue Jays will take it. They have 2 runners on in a 2-2 game, and Anthony Santander is up to the plate in just a moment after a team mound visit. No coach out there for the Mets.
Well, Edwin Diaz is a big guy, 6'3", and you could see in the replay that he really didn't reach down far enough to field that ground ball. Either way, big break for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Vlad will take it. It's his 2nd hit today. All in all, the top 3 has 6 hits. 3 for Bichette, 2 for Guerrero, 1 for Santander. And the switch hitter steps into the lefty box, looking to break open this game. Bichette on second, Guerrero on first, 1 out, 2-2, top of the 9th. Diaz, the pitch. Called strike. Santander's been aboard twice, the 1 hit, and then also he walked in the first. Kick in the 0-1. inside, and Torrens faked like it got away from him just to see if Bassitt would take off. Didn't fool him. 1-1.
Yeah, I don't even think Bo Bichette flinched at second base. He kind of just started walking back to second.
Torrens snow-coned it, but got it in his glove for sure. Next pitch, swing and a miss, 1-2.
Santander down to one knee, swinging at that slider below the strike zone.
He likes to reach down there, especially as a left-handed hitter. But for the Blue Jays now with a runner in scoring position, just a single, and they should take the lead, especially with the field conditions and the wet grass.
Little broken bat single here works perfectly.
Diaz set. The 1-2. Swing and a grounder foul. Again, Santander reached below the zone. He clipped that slider away to stay alive. ...102 RBIs for Santander last season. But something's going on the right side of the field, so we need a quick break. Time is called by Emil Jimenez behind home plate. Santander with a long breath, and now he steps back into the box. The 1-2. Again, fought away by Santander. A fastball in, then he popped up into the seats.
It's a tough pitch after a slider down below the strike zone. 97 in on the hands.
Just hoping for a rare Edwin Diaz mistake. First and second, one out, tie game. Another pitch. Swing and a miss, strike three. 97 down the middle, beat him. 2 outs.
That was the mistake right there. That was the one that Santander was waiting for. Just had a little bit too much velo on it. 97 with a little bit of life. Middle, that's the one you want.
Still one more shot for the Blue Jays. First and second, 2 outs. 2-2 top of the ninth. It's Andres Jimenez. First time that these two have faced each other. The pitch. Way up and away, and Torrens doing a great job to bring that in. He reached up into his left to avoid a wild pitch. 1-0. Diaz kicks, fires. Swing and a miss. Jimenez today 1 for 3. Singled in the first, walked in the fifth. A strikeout and a flyout outside of that. Blue Jays looking for a base hit to take the lead once more. The 1-1. Swing and a foul off on the 20th pitch of the inning for Diaz. 1-2.
That was another mistake from Diaz. A little spinning slider that Jimenez didn't quite get the barrel to. Fouled it back.
Only his third appearance. This is the deepest in terms of pitch count that Jimenez has gone, that Diaz has gone so far. Will he offer up one more mistake to the Blue Jays? The 1-2. Fouled off again. 99 at the top of the zone. If you were worrying about his pitch count, worry no more. That was his hardest pitch of the day.
Yeah, and his stuff has looked good. He's just made a couple of mistakes that the Blue Jays should have been able to barrel up. But again, his stuff is so elite that it is hard to hit the mistakes.
First and second, 2 down. The 1-2 again. High, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Alejandro Kirk on deck. After him would be Nathan Lucas, who substituted in for George Springer after Springer crashed into the wall last inning. 2-2. Bounced it past Jimenez's feet, and both runners move up 90 feet. Bassitt to third, Guerrero to second. Really yanked that slider, nearly hit Andres Jimenez.
Yeah, that was a weird one. You really don't see Edwin Diaz make pitches like that very often in the left-handed batter's box behind Jimenez.
Now another wild pitcher pass ball, and you can take the lead. A single scores 2. The 3-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Got him on the back foot slider, and Diaz works through trouble for 3 strikeouts and a scoreless ninth. 2-2 ball game going to the bottom of the ninth. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Enter Night Mode.
It's a stylish Friday night in the city.
Every Friday home game.
No doubter.
Where we celebrate everything that makes our city one of a kind.
And he made the catch!
When you always feel like part of the show. On Friday, April 18th, be at the ballpark early and get your Blue Jays City Connect Bomber Jacket giveaway presented by Enercare. The first 50,000 fans will be geared up for spring nights in the city. City Connect Fridays. Night Mode. Lights up, let's go. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
Drywall, an essential part of many, many projects. It's important to get it right and start with quality materials. Essentials you'll always find competitively priced at Timber Mart, like CGC, a recognized giant in the drywall industry for over 100 years and leading Canadian manufacturer of gypsum drywall. Well established and reputable, building pros and contractors know CGC, and you get exactly what the best builders trust. That's as sexy as drywall gets. Timber Mart, Canada's building center.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
He rocks the ball to left field. The Blue Jays have gone back to back to back.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball. Show Ali with you. The Blue Jays and Mets tied at 2 as we head to the bottom of the 9th inning at Citi Field in Queens. Don't forget, we do have Jays Talk tonight. Julia Kreutz is here at Baseball Control with me. She and I will have the post-game show. We will take your calls and your texts this evening. And I will throw out the numbers for you to call once this game is in the books. Once again, the Jays and Mets tied at 2 as we head to the bottom of the 9th at Citi Field. Blue Jays Baseball brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Show. As you said, 2-2. Blue Jays and Mets after the Mets rallied in the bottom of the 8th inning with 2 outs and 2 strikes on Jesse Winker. He hit a 2-run triple to make it a 2-2 ball game. Toronto threatened against Edwin Diaz, having first and second, 1 out, and second and third, 2 outs last inning, but did not score. And now the Blue Jays are going to turn it back to Nick Sandlin to try to get them to extra innings. 7, 8, 9 in the Met order. Brett Beatty leads it off for New York. The pitch. Called strike. If you're wondering why the Mets went to their closer in the 9th, but the Blue Jays did not, the Mets, once it went tied into the 9th, knew they wouldn't have a save opportunity the rest of the game. The Blue Jays still could in the bottom half of an extra inning. The 0-1. Swing and a grounder foul back behind Beatty. Nothing in 2.
Yeah, the home team usually uses the closer in the 9th inning in a tie ball game. The visiting team tends to wait until they have the lead.
Sometimes you do deploy your closer in the 9th just to say,
sometimes.
Why not use him before we can't? But Sandlin had only thrown 5 pitches last inning. His 0-2. Splitter outside, ball 1.
Yeah, a lot of the time the manager will look at who's on the mound and they'll say, he's good enough to be out there in the 9th inning. Let's stick with him or use him. If it was you out on the mound, I'm sure he would have went to Jeff Hoffman.
We would be in a lot of trouble. 1-2. High with the fastball outside as well. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Jeff Hoffman is ready to go, though, so there's always a possibility they just bring him in this inning if there's any trouble. He's just standing around in the Blue Jays bullpen. The kick and the pitch. Sandlin misses inside after getting ahead. Nothing in 2. 3 misses in a row, none of them particularly close, and it's a full count. Payoff pitch. Slider crushed foul, but that was so far inside. That was the best Beatty could do with it. Still 3-2.
Yeah, and getting the first out of this inning in a tie ball game in the 9th inning is of utmost importance. You get that first out, they can't bunt them over. They can't play small ball because they still have 1 out in that inning. This is a really important at bat here.
Beatty 1 for 3 today. A single off Jimmy Garcia in the 7th. Another 3-2. Swing and a ground ball. Hit to second on the run. Jimenez has it. Underhand flip to Guerrero at first. And there's 1 out. Sandlin went back to the bread and butter pitch, the splitter. and just had it low enough to get Beatty to roll over. So Jose Siri steps up to the plate. Home run power. He would walk it off with a long ball right now. 2-2 game, 1 out, bottom of the ninth. Sandlin offers. Outside, ball 1. Just keeping stock. The Mets still have Luis Angel Acuna and Tyrone Taylor on the bench, an infielder and an outfielder. The 1-0. Slider outside, 2-0. On the Blue Jays side, they have Davis Schneider and then Tyler Heineman, who they likely wouldn't use unless they had to, because you always want to stash a catcher. Two-0 pitch. Slider for a strike. Buckled Siri, who started to go but held up. 2-1.
That's a fastball count. And pretty great when you have a guy out on that mound that can flip in a breaking ball. 2-0.
Siri 0 for 2 with a walk. The 2-1. Inside, ball 3. Fans were getting loud there. They felt that the pitch clock had run down too far, but the umpires didn't say anything. The 3-1. Inside, ball 4. Second walk of the day for Jose Siri, one of the guys in baseball who chases more than anyone, but patient in the right spots, and he represents the winning run. He's got a ton of speed, too.
Yeah, I would imagine that he would try to swipe second base at some point during this at-bat. Obviously, the Mets aren't going to bunt him over or try to get him over with the bat.
The only counter I'll say that is Luis Torrens was scratched due to injury. Maybe they would bunt him if they just didn't feel good about him taking swings, yet he is in the game right now. And Sandlin's going to throw to first. I agree with you that situationally they wouldn't. I just wonder if he's hurt a little, maybe if they just give him up with a bunt.
So 99.9% of the time you wouldn't bunt him over here. You don't want to get 2 outs in the inning. But I did just see Torrens slide his hand up the bat.
And the first pitch is skipped to the backstop. Siri up to second.
That's a tough one right there.
Really wasn't much Alejandro Kirk could do with that. That slider ran way away from the plate. Well, now you don't need to bunt him, and there would be very little to gain from it with 1 out already. Winning run on second. The 1-0. Swing and a miss. He looks fine enough to swing that bat. That was a big hack from the substitute catcher.
Yeah, Nick Sandlin knows that as meaningful as that run is at second base, you still have to just go after the hitter and make good pitches.
I'll look at second in the 1-1. No, it's going to be a turn and throwback to second. And getting back in was Siri. Jimenez trying to fake out Siri with a fake toss back to the pitcher. Jose Siri all over it.
Jose Siri has a big smile on his face, and Andres Jimenez does not have a big smile on his face.
Siri 180 feet from winning the game with 1 out. The 1-1 to Luis Torrens. Down and away, ball 2. Even if you get Torrens, you got Francisco Lindor on deck. The 2-1. Fastball outside, ball 3. You can hear the factor of the crowd here as it gets late into the night in New York.
And that's why it's really important that you get Torrens here, because Francisco Lindor is on deck, and then you have Juan Soto after him. 2 very, very good hitters.
Runner on second, 1 out. 2-2 game, bottom 9. And the 3-1 is hit on a line. Left field, down for a base hit. Stop sign put up at third. And the throw back in quickly from Rodin. Rodin with maybe a little bit of a deke, like he could have caught it. And Siri wanted to watch it down. So a base hit doesn't yield a Mets win right now, but very dangerous. First and third with only one out.
Yeah, I think that's the right call by the third base coach there. It was kind of just a little blooper, and Alan Roden did a good job running in on that baseball. I'm pretty sure Jose Siri would have been out if they sent him there. And you also have Francisco Lindor coming up.
And with that, John Schneider is going to go to the closer here, looking for him to continue this game. Tough spot coming up for Jeff Hoffman. First and third, one out. Bottom of the ninth, 2-2 game. This pitching change is brought to you by Home Hardware. Cover all your project spaces with the Bring Beauty Tone home sale. For at least one more time, let's go back to today's host, Show Ali.
Thanks very much, guys. Let's check in on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Just a couple of games going on in the NHL right now after many of them have already concluded for the evening here on Saturday night. The Golden Knights taking on the Flames in Calgary. Zeros in that game just a couple minutes into the first period. You also have Kraken at Sharks. Kraken enjoying a 1-0 lead 7 minutes into the first period. Either way, you can watch Golden Knights at Flames in Calgary. You can watch it on Sportsnet and the CBC. You can listen to it on Sportsnet 960 The Fan in Calgary. Flames talk postgame will follow. Over in the NBA, the Raptors got thumped on Friday by the Pistons. It was a 117-105 loss to Detroit. Raptors are now 28-50 on the season following 3 straight losses. They will get back in action for the 4th last game of the year tomorrow night against the Nets. Tip-off goes in Brooklyn just after 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 p.m. Pacific. And elsewhere in the association, after learning that Carmelo Anthony is headed to Springfield earlier this week, ESPN's Shams Charania broke the news with the rest of the Hall of Fame class. Apart from Melo, you have Dwight Howard going in on the first ballot, Marquez Johnson, Buck Williams, and a host of WNBA legends as well, including Sue Bird, Sylvia Fowles, Maya Moore, and Jennifer Azzi. On the coaching side, Jerry Welsh, Mark Few, Billy Donovan, one of the Hall of Fame, who won 2 titles with the Gators in Florida at 4 trips to the Final Four. Also referee Danny Crawford and the 2008 U.S. Olympic men's basketball team, better known as the Redeem Team, will also go in as an entire unit. Blue Jays baseball brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get back to the action with Jeff Hoffman on the mound. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. Tough spot here for Jeff Hoffman. 2-2 game. Bottom of the ninth. First and third for the Mets with 1 out. If Francisco Lindor hits a fly ball here, the game is likely over with the speed of Jose Siri at third. Hoffman looking for a strikeout of Lindor and then an out against Juan Soto to get this one to extras. Right on left pitch. Hit well, right center field, caught by Straw, Siri tagging, the throw to the plate is late, and the Mets walk it off. Sac fly for Lindor wins it, and after Toronto led until 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th, they drop this one and the series 3-2, the final score tonight.
Well, that's a very, very tough loss for the Toronto Blue Jays. Chris Bassitt carried this team into the 7th inning, didn't walk anybody, didn't give up a run either through 6 2/3. Brendan Little came in, and right away you could tell that he was struggling with the energy in the building. He was struggling with the fastball through 6 straight balls to start his inning, and then he hung that breaking ball to Jesse Winker, and the game was over from there.
3-2, the final score in favor of the Mets. We'll take a quick step aside, come back, wrap it up, and get you over to Blue Jays Talk. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Barry, do you ever wonder why we fly north every year?
Obviously, it's because of Armstrong Bird Food.
I thought it was because of the weather or migration or something.
Oh, Steve, you need to spread those wings and open your eyes, partner. Truth is, it's the seeds, the nuts, the berries, the good stuff. Armstrong's got it all.
So all this time, you've been chasing snacks?
Bingo! You think I'd flap these wings thousands of miles for anything else?
Armstrong, Canada's premier bird food. The reason birds fly north. Find Armstrong at Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and other fine retailers. Or learn more at armstrongbirdfood.com.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
What's up, baseball fans? Thank you so much for coming back and hanging out here at Toronto Sports Insider for every single game of the Blue Jays season, this 2025 season. You're home for all things Toronto sports right here on TSI. It's finally here, opening day for our Toronto Blue Jays. After an offseason filled with roster moves, expectations are sky high. Be an electric atmosphere at the Dome, and we'll be breaking it down right here on Toronto Sports Insider. Be sure to like, subscribe, and jump in the chat and talk some Blue Jays baseball. Let's go Blue Jays! We'll see you in the chat.
Sitting around 90 to 92 miles an hour, but the command of that sinker and the movement on that sinker might have been the best I've seen him in the last couple of years. He was incredible tonight, and then that slow breaking ball that was 70, 71 miles an hour kept the Mets hitters off balance all night long. He was incredible, and like you said, one of the best games I've seen him pitch so far.
Because of his great pitching, the Blue Jays had time to rally a little bit. They came up with 3 hits in the 5th inning, including an RBI single by Vladimir Guerrero Jr., although they would leave the bases loaded that inning after loading them with 1 out. That would come back to bite them. They also got a run in the 6th inning, back-to-back doubles from Bassitt and Rodin. Bo really good today, 3 hits, a double, and an RBI. Alan Rodin really good today. 2 hits and a walk, 2 runs scored. 2 of their better offensive players. Vlad had 2 hits as well. So the Blue Jays take a 2-0 lead into the 8th inning. After Jimmy Garcia was shaky in the bottom of the 7th, they go to Brendan Little in the 8th. 6 straight balls, walked Lindor, and then gave up a hit to Soto after he had started to get into the zone. Then he gets a strikeout, though, of Alonso and a flyout of Nimmo. It looks like he had it in control, got ahead of Jesse Winker, and Chris, he just couldn't finish him off, and the Mets kind of took control from there.
Yeah, we knew that breaking ball was coming. I think Jesse Winker knew that breaking ball was coming. It's not a matter of what pitch he's trying to throw. It's the execution and the location of that pitch. He just threw a little spinning curveball. Jesse Winker, who has been seeing the baseball or had been seeing the baseball well all day long, just absolutely hammered that thing to right field. But it all comes back to that first batter that Brendan Little faced. You can't come into a big ball game like that up to in the 8th inning and throw 4 straight balls. As a reliever, that is a complete no-no. And I know he knows that. He's not trying to do that. But this is a high leverage situation for him.
Nick Sandlin came in to finish that inning, although he got into trouble in the 9th inning after the Blue Jays had put 2 on with 1 out against Edwin Diaz. It went 2-2 to the bottom of the 9th. A walk, and then what really killed was a wild pitch that moved Jose Siri up to 2nd, so a single moved him up to 3rd. Blue Jays went to Jeff Hoffman in a near impossible situation. 1st and 3rd, 1 out. You can't allow the run to score, and Lindor is up, and Lindor hit a fly ball just deep enough to score Jose Siri, speedy center fielder from 3rd, and win it for the Mets. The Blue Jays scored 2 runs on 10 hits, no errors, 11 left. The Mets 3 runs on 8 hits, no errors, 7 left. Both teams struggled with runners in scoring position, but the Mets got the big ones when they needed them to. A 3-hour, 11-minute affair in front of nearly 38,000. And with the loss, the Blue Jays go to 5-4. The Mets are now 5-3. Blue Jays lose the series, but still a chance to salvage it a bit coming up tomorrow. Much anticipated second start of the season for Bowden Francis. Remember, he almost no-hit the Mets last year. He'll get another look at them coming up tomorrow. 140 first pitch. David Peterson, the left-hander, is his opponent as the Blue Jays try to get out of Queens with a win. Really appreciate you tuning in tonight. For our technical director, Tom Young, our producer, Nick Blackmore, our host, Show Ali, my partner, Chris LaRue. I'm Ben Schulman. Hope you have a great rest of your night. Stick around. Text in, call in. It's time for Blue Jays Talk with Show Ali and Julia Kreutz. It starts right now.
Well, Jules, that was a tough one to swallow. George Springer, the bullpen, all getting the receiving end of some tough moments tonight. So Springer getting hosed at the plate when it comes to getting squeezed on calls. And then in what ended up being one of the game's biggest moment, can't make the catch on a Jesse Winker frozen rope off the outfield fence. He crashes hard into that chain link fence, taken out of the game on a play that ties the game in the 8th inning. The bullpen, just generally speaking, from the moment Jimmy Garcia entered this game to the sac fly off of Hoffman's pitch, it just did not look good. 3-2 loss to not only drop this game, unfortunately, but to drop the series overall.
Yeah, tough way to lose, Joe. I think that's kind of the taste that it leaves, right? Especially when you have Chris Bassitt pitching the type of game that he did. It's tough not to look at this one and think that he deserved a better fate. He was really, really giving you everything that you could have asked for. It was a very chilly night, obviously, in New York. And so you kind of see not just the Blue Jays relievers, but the Mets relievers as well coming in and struggling to command the baseball. And it does make sense. The difference is that one of those teams capitalized on the mistakes and the other one didn't. So definitely tough show. We are starting to see a few trends that are concerning for sure. We're starting to see a little bit of, obviously the starting rotation has been consistent to start the year. But if you don't get the big hits and the big moments, it's going to end in heartbreak like it did tonight.
That is Julia Kreutz. I'm Show Ali. You're listening to Jays Talk live on the Sportsnet Radio Network. We're also streaming on sportsnet.ca and on the Sportsnet app. You can give us a call, 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. You can text us as well. Lots of text on the text line, 590-590. Name and location. The People's Text line always open. Standard data and messaging rates may apply. Yeah, I feel like the place to start in this game is either Springer or the bullpen. I think the bullpen, given how this game continued to go even after Jesse Winker's game-tying hit, is where I want to start with you, Jules. So a little dicey from old Jimmy in the 7th inning, right? Bassitt's runner gets aboard and then a hit and a walk before Jimmy gets the out himself on Starling Marte, his former teammate. Brendan Little in the 8th, really grinding. Like he grinding through that entire inning. And then he, of course, ends with him letting up the game-tying hit to Winker. And, of course, that comes after both Lindor and Soto reach 6 straight balls from the time Lindor gets to the plate to midway through the Soto plate appearance. And it was just... It was a tough watch because, after we get Sandlin afterwards, after, of course, Springer crashes into the fence, and then you get Jeff Hoffman in the end. And look, I understand how, because of the chance for a save, the usage of Sandlin Hoffman if this game went to extras. But I feel like it goes all the way back to Bassitt being taken out of the game. And we can talk about Bassitt a little later on if you want, because to your point, I also agree that he deserved a far, far, far better fate. I honestly think this very well might be maybe one of the 3 best starts he's had as a Blue Jay, seriously. Honestly. Like he was really, really good tonight and deserved a far, far better fate. But I don't know, he was cruising. Like I understand lefty coming up to the plate, you get one runner on, you're only up by 2 runs. I understand in theory the idea of taking him out, but he was cruising. Like I think for me, it actually all goes all the way back to taking Bassitt out of the game. Even at 92 pitches?
Yeah.
I think I would have left him in there.
It's not even like he was at 100 or whatever. Yeah. And we have seen him push past that limit a lot. And you're right, Sho. He was dealing. He was warm, which is just as important as being hot on a night like this. And he had found a ton of success against the Mets hitters. It's every time a Met hitter came up to bat, it looked like they really did not know what to expect from Chris Bassitt. Just the pitch sequencing and the pitch mix and the choices that he was making was really just baffling hitters, freezing them at times, causing some awkward swings at other times. And if that is who you have on the mound, if that's how things are going, then why not keep him in? I understand that Jimmy Garcia is, as trusted a reliever as you will find in baseball right now, but so is Chris Bassitt, and he deserved that last out. So in the same way that Jimmy Garcia perhaps deserved a clean inning, and maybe that changes how you use your bullpen a little bit if you let Bassitt just get that final out. Now, but just before that runner got aboard there, Sho, you and I were talking about the possibility of Chris Bassitt coming back out to pitch in the 8th.
Right.
Get an out or 2 in the 8th inning, depending on how things went. And obviously, as soon as he lets that runner reach, it kind of just, that point becomes moot. But it felt like this was that 7th inning was his to finish. It didn't work out that way. And, the bullpen did what it did after that. But again, Show, it kind of comes back to the offense, right? Right now, there's no way that we are going to talk about these losses, especially these close losses, without talking about the fact that the Blue Jays are not getting the big hits when it matters. And if that continues to be the case, it doesn't matter much how good your starter is. It doesn't matter much because honestly, the bullpen was allowed 0 mistakes in this game. And, well, they're not going to be perfect every single time.
Yeah, when it's cold and rainy, I think we often give the offense a pass. But I can't give them a pass tonight, given that, Griffin Canning, first of all, because I think the Mets bullpen was good to all right to good, I would say, tonight. Even Edwin Diaz had some troubling moments in this one. This is a guy who, again, prior to his injury, was pretty much the best closer in all of baseball. And he made it. He made the pitches when it counted today. But Griffin Canning just did not look particularly impressive tonight. Not a lot of velo. His command looked very spotty. The guy was about around 80 pitches in the 4th inning. And because of all that, you figure the offense would have had way more opportunities than they did. The top of the 5th inning, Rodin gets a ball through the infield as the first batter up. The order turns over for Bo Vladdy Santander. And I turned to you in the studio here and I said, they have to score here. It is an absolute must. You can't draw this about better. A runner on and nobody out for the top of the order. So Bo gets on with a hit that chases Griffin Canning. 2 on, nobody out. Vladdy, with a great piece of hitting, kind of shortens up on the swing to chop it for an RBI single. But then Santander flies out. His struggle to start the year continue. Kirk strikes out. Springer can't catch a break with the umpire. And there's a text here from, I think it's from Joe in London, saying, I'm ready for the ABS in the majors now, please. If there was ever a game that would sell you on that, it's this game, because the home plate umpire, he was terrible for both teams tonight. I think that it probably did even out towards the end, but good God, it was awful tonight. And I think that's in that same moment I'm talking about, when Springer comes up with the bases loaded, he's probably swinging at least in part at some of the pitches that are borderline, because he's just not sure what's going to get called a ball or a strike. And yeah, they get the double from Bo in the 6th inning off Buto. But there's another moment in the top of the 9th inning where they get 2 runners on off of Edwin Diaz, of all people.
Heart of the lineup at bat.
And then you get Santander swinging at awful pitches. And then the Jimenez one baffled me, I think, too, because Jimenez, literally a pitch or 2 pitches before he strikes out, Diaz hooks a pitch literally behind his ankles, and then the pitch he strikes out on ends up being what? I think that pitch was a ball the entire time out of the hand. I know sometimes you can get confused with the release points and so on. That was at no point from the time Diaz reared back his hand was that pitch anything but a ball, and Jimenez had an ugly swing and miss to end that inning. I think the bullpen, will wear it 1,000%. John Schneider, I think, will wear it to a certain extent as well for not letting Bassitt finish that 7th inning of work. But the offense has got to wear this at least a little bit. Yeah, and again, Show, it's starting to become a trend, and a trend that we are pretty familiar with. We saw this a lot last year, this offense just being incapable. First of all, 1 extra base hit all game long. The Blue Jays actually had more hits than the Mets, but when all you get... there were 2 extra bases. It was a double from Bassitt and a double from Alan Rodin. But if that is all you're getting out of 10 hits in the game, I'm sorry. If you're counting on small ball and if you're counting on every single little detail going right for you to eke out a win, especially on the road, hostile environment, Show, we could hear the fans really getting into it, especially after that game was tied. You need the big bats in that lineup to really come through. And I don't mean come through with an RBI single like Vladdy did in a pitch that's out of the zone, and that's even questionable if he should be swinging at that, because he didn't have even 2 strikes on him, so he had a strike to give. It was not a pitch that looked particularly close. He got the RBI single out of it because he is a very, very good hitter, but the fact of the matter is that is not his pitch. That is not a pitch that he is looking for to drive. And until that approach gets a little bit cleaned up and the Blue Jays can actually start getting those home runs, those separators, those difference makers that make this game, there were so many chances here, Show, for the Blue Jays to actually blow this game up and allow John Schneider to be a little more flexible with his usage of the bullpen and maybe even chase a guy like Edwin Diaz out of the game because it's too far to reach at that point. But just unable to capitalize. And until
this top of the order starts producing with more consistency, Show, I'm afraid that we're going to be having a lot of the same conversations that we did last year. And that is, there was hope there at one point that we were past that. Just doesn't seem like we are just yet.
Richard in Bowmanville on the text line saying, different names, same results, great starting pitching, no offense. I think to your point, Jules, that's what it makes it feel. What makes it feel so familiar, so hard to disagree. The text here from, actually there's no name on this one, but this one just says, managers won't win you many games, but they can lose them for you. Pitching decisions in the 8th inning should get someone fired. A lot of people against John Schneider in this one. John Schneider is not a big league manager. Jimmy throws 10 pitches. They put little in the game against the three best hitters. Again, Andrew from Brampton, Young from London. Bullpen management is questionable. Why take Bassitt out after giving up one single and bottom of the order coming up? Leave Garcia for the 8. Bassitt was dealing only through 80-something pitches, 90-something pitches. Another head scratcher. Yeah, like I think it's a decision-making process that snowballed all the way to Jesse Winker's hit, Springer crashing into the wall, Hoffman having to come in a really untenable situation where a sac fly ended the game essentially. So yeah, that's a tough look. Let's go to the phone lines. 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. Let's go to Guy in Maple. Guy, what's up? Welcome to J-Stock.
Hey, guys. Yeah, you guys are bang on. So are the texters. I mean, Schneider costs us about 10 games a year on his decisions. And let me tell you, the first thing you've got to do, in the middle of your 5-hole, you don't have your slowest, weakest player batting fifth. Like, how nice would a Rodon and Wagner look in that 5-hole when you need a sacrifice fly or a guy to make contact? These guys have shown earlier that, and they've proven that, they can handle that. Kirk's been like this the last 3 years. I don't know why he's even batting in the top 5. He's got to be batting 8. You don't want this guy hitting when your top players are getting on base, albeit it doesn't happen very often lately. And, but in that scenario, a sac fly, something, this guy just doesn't do it. And then the management of the bullpen, I mean, let's count the mistakes. I mean, you guys hit it right on. Leave Bassitt in there. He deserves to see one more hitter. If he gives up another hit or whatever, okay, take him out. Then what do? You bring in Little, who's your fifth option as far as your best pitching, facing the top 3 hitters. That's when you need to bring in Hoffman. You don't have to bring in Hoffman in the 9th inning. You bring him in when the top hitters are coming in. So he blew that one. Then in the 9th inning, you go to Chad Green. You don't let Sandlin pitch in the 9th inning. He's not your typical strikeout pitcher. Green's a little bit better, but let's face it, who's your second best pitcher in your bullpen? I would guess it's Green, isn't it? You got Green and Garcia behind Hoffman. And this guy, Schneider, this is the second game he's cost us now. And hear me out. The game against Baltimore, I think it was the third game of the year, he brings in Lovelady, who's your last option.